Mm. You didn't say anything, Sean. Hold on one sec, Sean. One sec. Hold on. There's issues with audio. One sec. Well, good because you cursed. All right, Sean, go. Okay, there we go. All right, I see where it was broken. All right.
Okay. I can be heard now, hopefully. All right. Um, yeah. Pirating is what we're here to talk about. We're going to talk about the issue of piracy in comics, how big of an issue it really is. Um, Good to see everybody who's joining us so far. To have the conversation about piracy, we've got Marco,
Celsius.
Tyler,
I have no catchphrase.
and special guest. Happy to have him, the last guest of 2025. None other.
Am I really?
Yeah, you really are.
Oh snap! Oh snap! Okay.
None other than Victor Dandridge.
Hello, hello. I'm very well. I'm very well. Hardest working man in comics here. Thank you for letting me be the last guest of 2025. Like that's a privilege. I take that with like super high regard. Thank you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is a big topic. You are a creator who could be directly impacted by piracy because I do think, as we, we'll get into the conversation, but I do think that there are very much two worlds when it comes to comic book piracy. There's the big two space of it, and there's the indie space of it. One of those is way more impacted than the other. Just as
I promise you, my perspective is going to break heads. That is what I'm here for. So,
I know that, and that's exactly why you're here.
Somebody going to be hoisting the sails today.
That's right. That's right.
Thank you to everybody who is watching, whether you are live or in the future. Smash that like button. I am glad that you guys can hear me now. A bunch of muted comments. I want to see more than that. I want to see you guys saying how your weekend is starting off. How about that? Let's get the talk going. Yeah. And we're going to talk about piracy. So talk about your opinions about piracy. I want to know, this is the poll. How many people watching this right now, because this is going to be an honest chat. We're not going to lie. We don't lie on this channel. How many of you have pirated comics in any capacity at any point? Have you ever pirated?
I mean,
it is what it is.
DC Comics can be raising its hand.
Yes. Yes, exactly. We have to be honest. Entertain Me says, mandatory overtime with my job. I am sorry for you.
Mandatory.
That sucks, brother.
That sounds like something broke.
Mandatory. Mandatory is the worst.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. When you want it, it's great. When they tell you got to have it, it ain't great.
No thanks.
It ain't great.
Sorry to hear, bud.
Look at that. Christian says, never once. I believe him. Yeah. I believe him wholeheartedly. Yeah. I believe him.
I think in order for us to really have some validity with this conversation, though, we have to get into what defines pirated comics.
Okay. Now, I want you, Victor, to lead that. But let me just set the framework for why we're even having this conversation.
Let's go.
So everybody knows Rob from Comics Explained, right?
Big shout out.
He is one of the leaders in the space as it relates to, driving people to his channel, having people learn about comic book stories they might not ever otherwise engage with. He is responsible for bringing multiple people back to comics with his videos, Comics Explained. Now, Rob posted on his social media, his Twitter, He
Mhm.
posted an image of the absolute, I believe it was Absolute Batman 15. The
Yeah.
Yeah, the cover to that, and on it, it had an image from a pirated website, which means that Rob got the image that he was sharing from a pirated website. That caused a spark on social media, a firestorm of people coming for Rob. And it's worth pointing out there is an undercurrent of distaste for Rob among certain people within the comic space because people feel like he
What?
doesn't. Yeah, people feel like he doesn't encourage people to read comics. I have my own take on that. I think that, um, giving the
Okay.
entire comic up on your YouTube channel, that's a little funky. But I can't argue with the reality that there are people who check out Rob's channel who would never otherwise
Yeah.
be involved with comics, who find comics through him. So it's
Okay.
it's not it's not a black and white thing. But there
Sure.
is an
Sure.
undercurrent of distaste for Rob because of that, that then created or set the stage for this to occur, where a lot of people were saying Rob is not a champion of comics.
Wow.
Rob doesn't
Okay.
truly love comics. Rob loves his channel and does what he does for his channel. And that someone of his stature sharing an image from a pirated site and essentially endorsing piracy through that is the perspective. Um, he's doing damage to comics because he is telling people, I pirate, it's okay for you to do so as well.
Of course.
All right.
That's the framework for the conversation. Now, Victor,
Oh, let's get loose. Let's
I
get
want
loose.
you
Let's
to
get
explain
loose.
what piracy
Yes.
is in this space.
Okay, so first and foremost, let me jump in and say I am a Rob Jefferson stan. That is my buddy for life. And we've only known each other for like a handful of years, maybe like 5 years or so. But that is we are locked in. That is my brother from another mother. I'll fight you. So please come see me with some negative talk about Robert Jefferson in public. We will have some issues. Please. That's just off rip because black man support another black man. He's doing good things. Now, when it comes to piracy, I think in this regard has constantly been this concept of where someone has uploaded books into a space where you can get them for free. And the issue is what exactly? That certain people aren't profiting from this work? Like, is that the assumption of a problem of what this is? Because piracy is as necessary of a function as almost any other aspect of creativity. There has to be a version of it that is ill-gotten in some way, shape, or form. And one of the best ways that I could ever point out how necessary that actually is Jonathan Hickman's run of Krakoa, the Krakoan Age. They had the plants to help people, get all these different, medical necessities, sicknesses taken care of, and all that stuff. And at the same time that they were offering this legitimately, they also created a black market that they were in control of because they knew that that was a necessary part of the equation. You can't just presume that everyone's going to get things on this economic even basis. We don't exist in an economic even basis, and if you attempt to only relegate those types of experiences to that, you're creating an elitist society, which is the antithesis of what comics is about, right? The idea of comics is this universal concept of safety, of encouragement, and goodness. And if you only limit the experience of those stories to people who can afford it, then you are breeding an entire population of people who will never hold those concepts that we hold near and dear that are great for us as a society. They'll never experience it. They will never find it valuable because it was always denied to them. The piracy factor, I think, is illegitimate straight up because we as a readership population aren't strong enough to start dividing who bought their books legitimately versus who didn't. Comics aren't strong enough for that. Any readership is valuable readership. I, as a comic creator myself, I am starting off, I'm planting that flag. I don't care if you pirate my stuff. Are you reading it? because reading it is way more important to me than you buying it. The reason for that, and this ties right back into what Rob is doing, because the more people who actually are a part of the comics community, the easier it is for people to buy things without any sort of bias or worried about, stipulations about how other people are going to react to them. The more it's commonplace, the better. Think about it, like at some point there was a time where if you walked around in a sports jersey, you were crazy, because not everybody was a part of the sports community like that. We're not in that space anymore. Now you can have a jersey that you made. It doesn't even have to be a legitimate Nike team sponsored anything. It's yours, and it's okay because it's part of your fandom. That's what we're trying to get to. We want to get to that ubiquitous space where everybody is comfortable with these concepts, with these characters. They're knowledgeable about it. That's what we're aiming for. And when we're at a space now where readership sales, one, are in the hundreds of thousands, and that's being high-fived, right? Because we're still in a space where the highest selling book of all time was 8 million units before the internet. That's stupid, okay? That's stupid. Clearly, we're doing something wrong. And the more people that we have engaging in comics, the better we actually will be. If you want to get into a value space where if there's more people reading comics but fewer people buying comics, that's a great thing for the collector's market, because now those things are more valuable. Like everything that anybody would say about the economics or the economic impact of piracy is probably wrong. It's because you're thinking about it from a microcosm of input and not thinking about the actual implications of our actual marketplace and how these things will move for future reference. For the indie side, we want readers. Readers is way more important than sales. Like, and I know this, people are like, no, that's not true. It's absolutely true. Because if we have more readers, we can have more data that showcases readership. We have more opportunities for sponsorship, right? Like, if anybody's going at Rob, I need somebody to explain to me this. If you're going at Rob for going to a piracy site, at the same time, I'm not even saying either or, at the same time, you need to be going to the biggest comic shop in Colorado and going, how come you're not sponsoring Comics Explained? Explain that to me. He's got this many millions of subscribers. Explain to me why you're not subscribing or sponsoring him to be featured in your content. Explain that. Because they have just as much a responsibility to tap into what he's doing as one could argue that he has from taking away from them. But he's giving full opportunity for anybody to go and find a comic shop near them. Every comic shop gets equal play in this regard. So all you got to do is like literally just be like, hey, yes, he put on a pirate site, fine, but you can buy this over here.
Right.
I'm gonna sit down off my soapbox.
Well, copy a gimmick infringement there. Jeez.
I mean, I'm just saying.
No, I think you said a lot of things there, Victor.
Yes.
There's a lot of different points there.
Let's go.
And I agree with a majority of them. I probably
you don't agree with.
No, it's probably all. I'm trying to catch everything you said.
Oh,
That's
okay,
the thing.
that's
Yeah. I think just to go back to the Rob bit of it all, I think a nuance of the issue is him posting that image, and it was the cover for issue 14. I just double checked, and it had the website of a popular comic book piracy website on, like, in the image. It was like part, like a little banner at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the issue a lot of people had was him posting that, having a direct link for a huge audience, getting feedback for it, and then just not deleting it. And like,
Wait. In not deleting it, did he defend his position?
I believe so.
He
Yeah.
He was not promoting piracy. His point was, look, I buy my comics. I'm not a pirate. There's nothing, I didn't do this in any malicious way. People are coming for me. But that was not the point of what I was doing. So he wasn't doubling down because there was nothing to double down on. He wasn't promoting piracy.
Yeah. It's not like he was promoting this website. It just happened to be the image he got, which I'm not sure how he got it because I tried recreating it.
Yeah.
why not just is he Twitter verified too? Can he just edit it?
He's not.
He's not. Okay.
So here's where I come into play when it comes to the kind of the social interactions that we've had over the last decade when it comes to online. There is this idea of you can delete something and therefore it didn't happen. And I personally would like to get away from that kind of mentality. There are some things where, yes, they might not be right overall, they might not be right in the end, but if you try to delete it, then what we were trying to do is create this fictional idea that we were always on point, that we were always perfect. I would say that by him not deleting it, he is fully taking responsibility for what this represents to many people and is saying, I did this. It's not my intent, but this is a representation of me being a person. This is not necessarily a corporation with a multitude of people that are fact checking all the moves that I'm making. I'm a person. I'm a one man entity, right? Yes, he's got a team of folks that help him build a lot of things, but he's taking the full responsibility by not trying to dismiss it, by deleting it. He's leaving it there by saying everything that anybody has said about it, you can still track, you can still follow along. There are receipts across the board. By deleting it, now what happens with those receipts? Now it looks like he's trying to hide something. If you go back in retrospect, now it becomes something that somebody can say against him later on, like, well, remember that time you did this and you deleted it? Now he didn't, right? He's like, yeah, I posted it.
It's a bit of a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation.
Right.
Sure,
and if that's the case, then I'm far more leaning into leave it there then. Absolutely leave it there. Because if someone's going to come at you about it, leave it there so that that can be the statement that, well, you left it. Yes, I did. I think that's better than me trying to hide it.
I think, and pivoting a little away from the Rob of it all, just in support of some of the stuff you said as well, Victor, I think you've been mentioning, the affordability of it. It is a way for somebody to be able to access that. One of the things that I was going to just add to is it's also a space where you wouldn't have been able to read it otherwise because of language. I was a big manga reader with weekly stuff that I knew that a Kodansha or a Yen Press or whatever wasn't going to translate that ever, maybe, right? If we were lucky, it'd be 5 years, right? And so the only way for me was to be part of a community that actively translated, because for the love of the game, yeah, they were crappy scans, but I got to consume that content and I wouldn't have had any other way. So just adding to that point, there is the level of just access because of I don't speak that language, that gets missed out quite a bit. And then one thing that I saw in the chat here was, that I disagree with is, a pirated comic is, $5 lost upon, or $4 lost upon here. You reading this comic means that you didn't purchase it, and so therefore it's a loss of profit. My only argument to that is that individual was never planning to purchase, and if that's the case, you haven't lost value there, right?
Yeah, I think that's
true. I like where you're going with that, and I think there's even more to eat off of that bone. Because again, when it comes to economics of comics, it's too easy for us to try to use language that fits in other economic workflows that don't apply here. When you say that's $5 that's not going to somebody, let's recognize number one, when something is $5, that is not disseminated equally amongst all the practitioners and creatives behind that work.
Yeah.
That's number one. Number two, it is not even accounted for in terms of when a book is called a sellout, that it has moved into customer hands, right? Like that is literally just a statement from distributor to retailer.
Yep.
So in terms of counting what value something comes back as, it's not the same. And there is always the opportunity that what is a $4 cover price gets made up for later on with an added value piece to a particular book. So you can't say that it's a one-for-one, sale-for-sale value. It doesn't work that way for our industry. So again, when you're saying that that's taking away from something, no, it's not. Plus, there's not necessarily even the royalty structure that if a book moves a certain amount of units, the creatives get paid in these certain amounts. That's not true. So again, when you are wanting to pigeonhole this one phenomenon as super bad and it's an economic argument, it's not a strong one, because the reality of the comics market doesn't work in that way.
The most direct negative would be to comic shops if you want to do a 1-to-1.
Right.
And then
But
but that's also a microcosm of the major, the bigger sphere of what comic books is. Yes, does that suck for a shop? Yeah, but a lot of people who are pirating have no shop near them anyway.
Exactly.
Sure.
Yeah. So, like, what shop is it actually hurting? And also, let's be frank, in a lot of cases, how many shops are responsible for pirated material? We can't pretend like that's not a possibility.
Oh, yeah, like how are they getting the scans in the first place?
That's a great point.
Sure. Okay.
Especially considering that, let's say and kind of tying Rob into this, one of the things that is the nature of his business is he has to be one of the first ones to talk about things. So time proximity is a huge thing. Who are going to be the first people to have access to any pirated material? You're going to have the public, or you're going to have creators first, publishers next, then retailers. If there's anything that's on the market before it literally comes out, that's a retailer that did it. So, and again, much in the same way as I said, the X-Men did it. I wouldn't say that that's an unsmart thing for a retailer to do. They start seeding some stuff out there. They're seeing how many people are interested, how many people are reading. Maybe there is a call to arms. Hey, you like this? You only get this much of the story, but we got some cool stuff that you can add to it if you come in. That's smart. That is I hate to say it this way, but it's the drug dealer mentality. I'll give you that first hit for free, and then you come buy some stuff from me.
Anecdotally speaking, when I was in college, I was broke. I ate like one too many Cat's Deli pastrami sandwiches. It bankrupted me.
I got you.
Yeah.
Put the avocado toast, bro. You can't do that.
I know. It was the New York style version of that. But I read a lot of Walking Dead and I pirated it. That was what I did. And while I was in class, I was reading on my MacBook. Not paying attention to class. My grades weren't great my first year. But you know what that did? It made me like Walking Dead. So the following year, when I actually got a job, you know what I was spending my money on, my paycheck on? Compendiums. Yeah. I was buying Walking Dead, and I would have never have bought any Walking Dead had I not already been a fan of The Walking Dead because I was reading it.
Correct.
So if anything, it's maybe you can say it is a negative in the immediate, but in the long term, like I'm buying my comics now when I actually have the money for it, because I think it builds fans. And I think a fan's going to want to support what they like. So when they're in a better place monetarily to be able to support that, they're gonna. I've bought original art. I've bought, collected editions. I'm much more in a spot because I'm a fan, because I was reading it on a damn laptop, which is the worst way to read a comic.
Absolutely. The iPod or nothing, man. Or iPad or nothing. Like, come on, vertical.
And I think to that, Tyler, like there's a velocity to that, right? You said that there was a longer tail, right? So that's a slower velocity. I would argue that for me, when I was reading, and I would pirate, it was weekly stuff because I only had a certain amount of money that I could spend at the shop. Yeah. I'd go and I'd catch up just to make sure I'm up to date on like whatever else was going on, or maybe a cover didn't catch my eye. I wanted to give something a test, and then it came when I found a series that I wasn't purchasing, then it was a game time decision of just like, damn, now here's the thing that I should start picking up because actually it's good. And I ended up inundating myself with more and more comics that way. But that's something that affects the more immediate as opposed to the long tail. Like there are effects that benefit in any situation, which I think again just credence to the fact that this is not necessarily a negative; it's an expectation, and it's an expectation that ultimately drives buyers.
Sean, I think this is the longest stretch you've been quiet. I want to know what you think.
I just wanted to get.
He's letting us dig holes.
Have your words. Let me hit off some super chats here real quick. Hurricane with the 5 CAD. Vic, if reading is more important than buying, just give it for free. You're more likely to get more readers that way.
Yes, I do that.
Yeah,
like I personally do.
He does do that. By the way.
That's not a gotcha. I live that life absolutely, because especially on individual issues, I think those are meant to be loss leaders until you have enough for a collected edition, and then that's how you make your money. In fact, Walking Dead is a great example of it. That's what Robert Kirkman did. When he would release individual issues, he wouldn't take any money. That's what he gave to his artists. He made the money off of the trade paperbacks. And by scale and volume, he makes more money with a higher volume item than he does off of individual issues. That works. Like, it really does work. And this is why I say, like, that concept of the economics of it isn't strong, because what you just presented as a gotcha, I actually do that.
To further that point, Panel Syndicate, for anybody who's not familiar, is something that Brian K. Vaughan participates in, along with a whole bunch of other creators, all for free, DRM free. You go to the site, you pay what you name your price, you pay what you want, or you just download it, right? Because again, this concept is understood, this concept is known, and big creators, a Brian K. Vaughan goes, of course,
Yeah,
and go for it.
And I bought the physical edition of Private Eye.
From Image, right? It was the like that sideways one. Yeah, of course. 100%.
I hate the way it looks, but it's an amazing book.
Yeah.
I want to say thank you to Koitsu, who joined the channel as a VI Pal member. Thank you, buddy.
Hell yeah.
J Sage with $4.99. Guess who got paid? Vic is spot on. Exposure for our niche hobby is needed. Not every country has a comic shop, much less a local comic shop. Thank you, Jay,
true.
for that.
That's fair.
Hayden's Hideout with the $20. Thank you so much, Hayden. Really appreciate you. Happy holidays to you and everybody, by the way. I pirated comics when I was a teenager and had less expendable income. I would buy the series I wanted to follow and could afford, then use sites to read the rest. Now that I'm older and have more income, I don't sail the seas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's called being a fan, you know?
Yeah.
Pretty typical.
Yeah.
Rami Darwish with a 5 spot. There are countries that have comic book fans that have absolutely no access to comic books. Piracy in these countries is the only way to get comics. That's a good point. S Green 420 with 2 gifted memberships. Thank you for that. Who ended up getting those?
Dex got one.
And then Rafael Feliciano Paudua.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you. And then Entertain Me. 11 months at the VI Pal tier. Thank you so much, my rival.
Awesome.
Or rather, screw you, rival.
There we go. Kayfabe.
I don't pirate comics, but I do pirate manga. Does checking stuff on Reddit count as pirating? 11 months, and I get a quiet Sean. All power to the pals. I am sorry for being quiet. That is not typical.
Sean was enjoying the conversation. He was
yeah, you guys have it handled. Look, I don't think there are too many things in this world that are morally one-to-one. And I think that is especially not the case when you're talking about what are ultimately entertainment products. I personally, my feeling about piracy, in general, as a general rule, for my life, because I think you can only speak morally about your own life for the most part. Obviously, we should all agree not to kill people. Blah 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 blah.
Okay, yeah, that was a
and
jump.
even then, like some people got to go, right?
Wait.
No one here. No one here.
He said what he said.
Okay, all right. I'm just not co-signing that one.
My philosophy for my life when it comes to piracy is I only pirate things that I already own. So like I don't mind reading through, like if I want to read, I said this last week, I don't care. I when we did the book club, I read New Avengers through a pirated site. I own it in more than 2 formats.
Yeah.
It was convenience. I have spent way more money on comics than I could ever steal because I love it. It shouldn't be the case that it's more convenient for me, somebody who has not only these comics in multiple formats, but also a subscription to Marvel Unlimited and DC Unlimited, that going to a pirated site, quickly typing in whatever I'm trying to read and just easily reading through it. That should not be the case. That is easier than going through the publisher's own mechanisms. But for me, it is. And so that's what I do. I cannot tell you what you should do with your time and money, but I will say this. I have been on panels with many creators. We have one right now. I was on one with Kyle Starks last week. You know what Kyle Starks said when this topic came up? Kyle Starks said, and Kyle Starks, He's got a
Okay.
big 2 book coming out in 2 months, right? And a new book that just dropped this week, Wrestle Heist. So he's entrenched. He said, I don't care if you pirate my comics. He said, please steal them. Because what I want is people to read it.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee that what I'm doing is so good
Yeah.
that you're going to want to spend your money on.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I have a hard time, and I wish, I would love for anybody to challenge this. Like, I have a hard time with the idea that you're not confident enough, and maybe that's too harsh.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
I mean,
To think that like your people are gonna go pick it up if it's quality. Like you're like someone who doesn't buy your book. Like I co-sign what Marco said earlier. I think it was Marco, a combination of Marco and Victor.
Ooh,
If they didn't
deadly.
buy it because they didn't have money, you didn't
never
lose
do.
a sale. So
Right.
you can't go to a pirated website, type your name in, look at your book, see the views, and say, oh, that's 1-to-1 lost sales. No, it's not.
Yeah.
100% it's not.
Not at
In
all.
fact, the amount of sales you lost in that is probably a very tiny percentage relative to the people who were rereading it, could never have purchased it for any reason, didn't have the money, whatever the case is. I think it's probably a lot more likely that you lost a tiny amount of sales and maybe even gained a lot of sales you never would have had. But you can't even know that.
You can't.
Like you can't even
No.
track that. It's not
You
possible.
cannot. You cannot.
if anything, that should be a call to be like, hey, here's the interest.
Yes.
How do
Yes.
I capitalize on that? If
Boom.
anything, that's data.
Boom.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's a great point. Hey, you go up to a publisher. Hey,
They ain't giving you fucking numbers like that, you know?
They're not, but you go, hey, actually, I got 100,000 hits. Like, what's going on? Like, this could be more in the direct market. That's a great
Yes.
point.
Yes. Because that's the sales metrics that we use today, right? Again, let's say you've got something on a pirated site and it's got 100,000 hits, like you said. Go to Kickstarter. What percentage of those people will suddenly come over there because now you might have something that you're offering extra that they've experienced most of this on. It's the way that people are tending to read these days. And I think an even better point, and Sean, you kind of brought it up, is the legitimate pirate-esque platforms that exist that we support, and it's because there's some monetarily exchange happening, that's justified. You said you've got the publisher-centric platforms, right, that you're paying a monthly, yearly stipend into that gives you access to a bunch of things. It's the same reading process as pirated material. The only difference is you're paying somebody, right? But the person that you're paying, do they ethically and equitably pay their creatives? No, we know that.
Yeah, no.
We've been known that. So is that more ethical to pay this publisher that you know is not disseminating that money down to the people that created the work? Does that make it better? No, not really. Let's be honest here. You're paying into a corporation who is going to hold on to that money for themselves.
It's funny because Marvel Unlimited and DC Infinite are the big two publishers' response to stuff like Spotify, to stuff like Netflix, which was in itself a response to piracy.
Yes.
But because those things have gotten so big and its own corporation in and of itself, their appeal is waning because they're clunky as shit. They give money into AI. And they're owned by big corporations who might do things that you maybe don't agree with on a moral level. So now what was the solution to piracy is now the cause of piracy once again.
Because that's always going to be the case.
Yeah. I remember when what was it? Napster was out. I might be dating myself here, not that bad. But I remember when Napster was out. I was on the internet around that time. I was a kid on the internet, but I used to pirate shit all the time. The amount of times I would get audio of Bill Clinton saying he did not have sexual relations with Monica Lewinsky instead of the Evanescence song I was looking for.
LimeWire.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes,
LimeWire. What was it? Kazaa was another one.
Oh yeah.
But that was, and then like the artist started speaking out about it. Like I remember it was Lars Ulrich from Metallica. I loved Metallica. I never disliked Metallica more until Lars started speaking. And it became like a thing where it's like it's not punk rock to be anti-piracy. And I think piracy in and of itself is pro art.
Yep.
And I think that extends to
Being out there
comics.
for the people. Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Dennis Camp, probably one of the more punk rock creatives in comics right now, is pro piracy because I think he understands that it's equity. It's making sure that everyone can access your art.
Yes.
That is the true part of art is not making money. It is a side effect that maybe means you can then make more art.
Yes.
But it's not the objective.
Preach
And
it.
I think that the true point of it is to get it into people's hands. And I think Dennis Camp said it was that it in the long run it makes more fans, and I agree. And I think that's what people need to realize. Like I got into AFI as a kid because I pirated all that shit. And you know what I did when I had my first paycheck in high school? I bought Miss Murder on CD. I bought MCR's Three Cheers on CD. Because it made me a fan, and I think that's what people need to realize. It just being so anti-piracy might feel pro-art, but it's really pro-capitalism,
Right.
and pro-corporation.
Well, I really want to make a statement on that. Why do we feel so comfortable with saying that someone isn't worth experiencing something because of how much money they don't have? Like, why are we comfortable saying, "Oh, you shouldn't be able to see this. You shouldn't be able to engage with this"?
Be careful, you're dipping into a pro AI statement. Be very careful with that.
Hey,
No,
I promise you, you are. I promise you, you are. Because no,
I can see
here's how
the
it
route.
goes.
I
This is
can
how
see
it
the route.
goes.
Yeah.
Because if I can't afford to hire an artist, you're saying I don't get to be a comic book creator.
I'm saying that you don't have. I'm saying that you don't. So as a comic book writer, right?
Mhm.
Our responsibility is to tell a great story
Yes.
through the script that then gets translated by an artist onto the page.
No.
Yes.
No.
Absolutely.
Victor.
Because here's why I say that, and here's why I say no, right? Because in so many different ways of being a comic book writer, your job is to write a story that is going to be translated well into a visual narrative, right? More often than not, you don't get to pick who the artist is. If you're working for a big two, you don't really get to pick who the artist is. You have to write it as though anything could produce this. Anything. Not just anyone, anything can do it, because you don't necessarily get to pick. You might want artist A, or this might have been the guy that's assigned, and then something happens, and that's not the person that does the book. You don't get to rewrite it, or you would charge if you had to rewrite it for someone else, to be specific. Like, that's not the way that we do this. What we do is rewrite this thing with the understanding it's supposed to be interpreted visually. A lot of times, and let's be honest, like, how many artists have you had on here that have talked about new first-time writers who don't write well for comics because they don't understand what it means to write for comics? This is why, and I will put this out there too, I am pro AI in that regard, because people have to be able to experience this to know that there's another option. It's like tracing, right? Anybody that started off as an artist, you started off as a tracer. You started off copying somebody else's stuff before you realize I have either the intent or the means to do it myself.
But Victor, isn't bad art also art? Like,
sure.
if somebody's bad at it,
sure,
then they're still making it. And they're still creatives. They're not stealing it.
Bad, you have to have the experience of it being bad, right? And again, when it comes to the context of comics, we don't hire bad artists. We might hire people that are going to get better, but we don't hire bad artists. That's not the goal, right? Because that's not the products that come out. It's not, hey, I made this shitty comic, you should get it. Like, that's unless you're being super tongue in cheek. The idea is that every person that's producing is doing it to the best of their ability, right? The question becomes, if you are putting an economic value on who gets to put in that kind of opportunity, that's where we will have problems.
But
Because-
here's the other side of that, Victor. You can learn to draw. There is
Yes.
nothing financially preventing you from doing that.
No, that's not true. That's not true.
Yes, it
when
is.
you say financial, you're saying cost. Time is a cost. Time is a cost. The amount of time it would take to learn how to draw is not necessarily something that we can stipulate that somebody should have to do.
Hold on. Because you're talking about commercialization. I'm not. If you want to make hold on. If you want to make comics, any person can make a comic book for
Very
themselves for free or very, very low cost.
Yes.
So that is creating art. You're not entitled. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
No. What I'm saying no to is not what you're saying. It is the execution of what you are qualifying it as. If I want to make a comic, but I want it to look like a professional level comic, that is still what I want. That's still what I want. That's still me doing what I want. And that's what you're saying, is that if a person can do this based on what they want, then all tools that are available to them should be applicable.
That is not what I said at all.
That's what I'm telling you is the problem.
That's not what I said.
That's what I'm like. You're saying if I want to make a comic, I can just make a comic. It can be a crappy comic because I can't draw well. But I didn't want to make a crappy comic. I wanted to make a good comic.
Then learn to draw. That's not
that right there. That becomes the if you want this, then you have to do this, and that we can't do for art.
But that's not economics, bro. That's not economics. Good art is subjective, and
no, but that's why. Because look at what you're saying. Like that's not being subjective. That's being objective, which is saying that if you want to do this well, then you have to learn how to do this. No, I can use a thing that does this for me, and it still creates this thing that I want. That's what our goal should be as creatives. How do I make the thing that I want to create? Now, selling it, that's totally different. That's a totally separate thing. That's a totally separate thing. I think that's where we get into the issue of AI being used, because it is so hard, especially in comics, to separate creation versus commercialization. Commercialization is always about money. It's always about that, right?
Of course.
So creation, it doesn't matter how I create it. I just wanted to create it.
I mean, look, on a personal level, like if you just are sitting at your computer and you're like, I want to make a comic,
right?
You type in a prompt and it comes up for you, and that makes your dick hard. Sure, but like nobody has to respect that.
But nobody has to do anything. Period.
Nobody has to do anything. Period.
Right.
What I'm saying is, I don't respect that person as a creator.
As a creator, I will never make that statement for anybody else. I will never make that statement.
I'm very comfortable making that statement.
I know what it takes to make it. And I totally understand if that is not the level of intent that you have in what you're doing.
Then you're not going to succeed. But
why? That's not true. That's not true. Because again, and
there's no proof.
No, it can't be, because name me top five successful comic artists in the business. I'll even put a caveat in the last 30 years. Top five.
I mean, that's a massive question. What's the point?
Could be. Is Rob Liefeld one of them?
From a commercial standpoint, yeah, absolutely.
Does Rob Liefeld draw well in any specific point of view?
I think he does.
I don't think that matters.
This is what we're talking about. Because if you don't necessarily have a context or having to do something to a certain level and you can still be successful, then anybody that's doing it through AI, it's not going to change anything. They still have to find a way to sell it.
Rob did it. I respect Rob Liefeld regardless of what I think about his art, because Rob did it.
Like, I love all Robs. This is a whole Rob channel. Like, we love Robs around here. That's my point. Like, Rob gets harassed by very talented illustrators, right? Because of the things that he can't do. But he's still very successful in what he does do. What he does do is he creates things that people will engage with. However he does that is okay, because the end result is he still has to move that.
But that's commercialization. Again,
right.
He has to move it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's when, because that is his ultimate goal, he now has to take on that extra burden of still finding a way to make it successful, right? No matter what. what I'm hearing, let me say it like that. What I'm hearing from you guys, no, Sean, I'll be specific to Sean.
Let's do it.
Is that if the means of which that you've made the thing you don't agree with, you are finding it impossible for it to have value beyond the creation. I'm saying we shouldn't limit it that. That should be now a new tax that's put on that creative, that they now have to make it that much more viable in some way, shape, or form. It's not for me to dictate how they do it, but they have to do that in order to make this thing that they've made through what we'll call a cheat valuable. Because even with AI, you can still fail. That is super important to know. You can make a thing and it doesn't move. I've seen very talented creators who've made projects that are amazing. They don't move because they couldn't sell it. The creation of the thing is totally separate from the commercialization of the thing. And if we keep saying these things together, that is a problem.
Can we get back to 1 second though? Can we get back to the piracy aspect of it? Because I think the forking path here was the equity of piracy, right? It was everyone has the right to be able to consume art, right? And if they can't consume comics, piracy is the only answer. That's okay. You're saying the forking path here is that everyone also has the right to create art.
And they can.
And they can. And I'm Sean, I'm with you on this one, 100%. Especially because I think Victor, you're viewing this as a tool, and it's funny because we're gonna be talking about this later on the show, right?
God,
yes.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So I'm wondering if maybe we should save this for them.
Oh, snap. Oh, okay.
I really wanted to hear what Marco was going to say before we pivot.
It's going to be binary ones and zeros.
Dude, first of all, Victor,
don't.
Breath of fresh air, because I feel like I've been combating these boys for years on this topic. I 100% agree, and like I want to kind of further your point a bit on the access and creation of art, because that to me is what this is. It's a tool to be leveraged, to be levied, to be able to make new and do different things. I'm not gonna bother with like examples of this necessarily, but I think for me it is the democratization of access to art. I've given the crazy hypothetical of what if I'm born unable to move. I'm bedridden and all I can do is blink, and I'm expected to learn how to draw with pure blinks, and that's the only way that my art will be valued.
You put paint on those eyelashes. Put a.
yeah, exactly.
That's art. That's still art. That's still art.
And so
it's not that it's not still art, but that's a lot of work to create what you're deeming valid art.
Yeah. And so I think just on that point, agreed that the issue with it is only in the commercialization. It is not in the actual aspect, because bad art is subjective, but also bad art deserves to exist. Challenging art deserves to exist in any other capacity. So I don't think that necessarily is an issue. It comes down to when you sell it, or does it count as something that you should profit off of because of maybe the level of investment or of intent. And I think that becomes the measure. I think that if I invest a certain amount of time, of maybe monetary value, whatever, then that comes back to me in some commiserate amount, as opposed to I've produced this thing with maybe less intent, less effort, and so I'm commiserate of the same value, monetary value. I think that is a conversation worth having, as opposed to, is art that comes out good or bad from an AI tool art?
Okay, now, thank you, Marco. I'm going to put a cap on that portion of the conversation just because we do have other things to get to.
My bad.
No, you're good, and it's not the end of the conversation.
Those worms
AI
will come
came
back
up
out.
big
Trust
time
me.
as well.
Wow. Okay.
I want to say thank you, by the way, to Paperback Dan, who is with us. Paperback Dan followed me here from Near Mint Condition, and I love to see that, so I wanted to make sure to shout you out. Kingdom of Nerds has been a member of the channel for 24 months and says, great topic as always. Thank you, Kingdom of Nerds. Good to see you, dude. Cosmic November with the 5 spot. Yo ho, pals. I think pirating at the end of the day is important for preserving art. If I have access, then I will pay, but it's important to preserve art.
The preservation's a big point too. I don't think we talked about it.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That comes up a lot in gaming as well, and I agree with it wholeheartly there. Flo Dameron with a $4.99. What sites are you guys using? Please say it into the wire, tucked under my shirt.
I was gonna say, yo, that sound mad narky, man.
It's meatspin.com. That's the one. Go check that one out, Flo.
Ben Loudly, my dude, with the $10 says the bulk of the comics I've pirated over the years have always been back issues, early 2000s on back. I couldn't find online officially. You'd be amazed at what Marvel, DC, and Image haven't uploaded. That's true.
Yeah.
That is true.
I can definitely see that.
And then we've got Comically Optimistic with the 10 spot, who says happy holidays. Off topic, getting into video editing and graphics. Tyler, do you have any recommendations for resources to learn? No sweat if not, just like your work for the channel. And frick AI.
YouTube. Figure out something you want to do and there's probably someone on YouTube doing it. That's really, I don't have any specific people or resources. Like, I probably should, but a lot of it is just seek and destroy, finding the thing I want to do, finding somebody doing it on YouTube, and then there's usually a guide.
What platforms do you use in that case? Maybe
for all graphics, I use Photoshop. Yeah, but like it also helps that I've been using Photoshop since I was 12. You know, so a lot of this just built in. So I would probably be a horrible person to learn from. But yeah, I would just strategic Googling. I know that's a shitty answer, but that's just how I do it.
Yeah, there's lots of resources too. Humble Bundle, if you go, there's a lot of like sales for the tech. So like if you need some sort of program or app to be able to do something, and then also books on learning how to do X, Y, or Z.
The other thing I wanted to say is we have over 120 people with us right now. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. I was frankly, if I'm being really honest, a little bit nervous about how you guys would show up for this topic, and you showed up way more for this than you did for the Superman Spider-Man announcement last week. So very impressive. You show up for a generic topic rather than, well, not generic, it's meaty, but rather than a big meaty big two conversation. So really appreciate y'all for that.
And that doesn't even count the other 200 of you that are watching us piratedly.
Well, if I can, I want to give that as a shout out to you guys. I mean, when you generate conversation points, it's authentic and it's appreciated, as opposed to necessarily like industry announcements that other people are generating big news pieces and expecting y'all to pick up the slack and talk about. When it's something that is important to you, it's felt. So I think you guys should take some applause for that.
Thanks. And you know what, Victor?
Yeah.
I do not ask ChatGPT for ideas for the topics of this show.
Sean, you ever use the?
I respect you.
You ever? So YouTube has this built-in AI thing for video topics, where it's like, oh, you click this button based on the videos you've already done, and it kind of shoots out.
Farts out.
It's a wet fart.
Horrible.
Yeah.
It is like a norovirus fart. Like it is the worst thing ever.
Wow.
Yeah, they're bad.
That's amazing.
Steve Canara says I sell bootleg Comics Pals episodes on DVD in Times Square.
Yo, hanging out next to Elmo and the monks.
Holy shit. All right. So back to the conversation about piracy. I want to create a dichotomy right now.
Let's go.
Between the piracy of big two comics and the piracy of indie comics.
Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
When you pirate a book from Marvel, let's say you want to read New Avengers by Bendis. David Finch, Leinil Yu, everybody involved in that has been paid.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know the particulars, so I'm not going to pretend that I do. But I'm going to make an assumption right now that could be wrong, that they're not necessarily being paid in perpetuity for that work. Right. They probably got paid what they were going to get paid, and that's about it. You are not supporting Bendis or any of the other creators involved when you read New Avengers in a legal way, because that's already been handled. You're supporting Marvel, which is great. There's nothing wrong with supporting Marvel. I support Marvel nonstop. I love Marvel. But if your concern is supporting creators and taking food out of their mouths through piracy, when you're pirating something like that, that's not what's happening. There is a much closer to, and it's still not direct, but there's much closer to a one-to-one theft when you're talking about an indie creator's work. We've already established why that's still a slippery slope of thought, because it's not necessarily even direct in that context.
Mhm.
But there's still a massive difference. I'll give you a great example. Kelly Thompson and Mattia De Luis did The Cult. If more people bought The Cult, we'd be getting more of The Cult. But they didn't, so we're not. So if you pirated The Cult and could have purchased it and didn't, you hurt them. And you hurt me, shit, because I love that book. If you pirated it and then bought it later, you didn't help, because the single issue sales needed to be there and they weren't there. But if you pirated it and you couldn't have bought it anyway, that has a net zero impact. In fact, it might even be helpful, because if you pirated it and then you went somewhere and said, hey, I read this and it was great, you may have created a sale that you couldn't generate by talking about it and informing someone else who went on to purchase it.
Just on that, when I was younger and pirating, it would be the big two. It'd be the bigger ones, because I had a similar supposition. And at the time, I was so into the indie spaces that I was going to shows where I was directly talking to them. You know, like, one, their book probably wasn't even on a site. So, first and foremost, but even if it was, to me, the imperative was, this is likely going longer for them. This is going further for them, because it has to deal with more to be on the shelves. And if what is on the shelves is ultimately how you're getting judged, then I'm going to purchase this over, Batman, whatever the number was at that time. So I think the distinction is fair. I think ultimately, if you pirate and could have bought, I don't know that you're morally in the wrong, because ideally you're still consuming, and from there you'll at some point convert down the line, or at the very least you're talking highly about this. I think it does impact it from a marketplace success, but when it comes to the longevity of the comic, as long as it's being read, it ideally can be spoken about.
Shit, I must have caused the Coles cancellation, because I read that through our image previews. Oh no. I think if the question is what is more morally bad, of course the one that directly affects the creator is going to be the morally worse one. I can't help but feel like it just sounds like an issue with the way the industry works. That I'm trying to figure out a way to word this. There's so many hoops and stops on the train that is a comic book sale, and in terms of the data that keeps a comic book going, that I'm unsure that piracy is even that big of a deal for it. Because what prevented the call from continuing? It's low sales. That's the straightforward answer. But that's low sales from shops based on data about books. They had to order issue 1 based on people's liking of Kelly Thompson, probably. Then issue 2, they couldn't even base off of issue 1 sales. They had to then, because their data wouldn't have been there for that when they had to pre-order that. So it is such a messy way on how sales work that I have a problem just blaming piracy. I don't know. It's a little messier for me. I think. I think if the question is pirating Marvel or DC, I don't give a shit. They already got paid for it. Like, I think at worst, it's like less data for Marvel to know that, I don't know, Ashley Allen is a good creator, an up and coming creator that people like. But honestly, maybe they should be looking into the data of piracy as well. That data is openly free. Yeah, I don't know. It's a complicated one.
I just want to quickly jump in and say I don't think that Kelly Thompson and Matthias Nicole didn't get to do more issues because of piracy. It was because of low sales.
Yes. Yeah.
I can't say why it had low sales. I have no idea. And I don't think piracy is the reason that we didn't get more of the call. That was just an example.
So, as a independent publisher, creative, and let me just not as a qualifier, but just as an experiential. Have any of you guys written comics that have come out?
Yeah, I mean, not that I haven't, not that it have come out. Marco has.
Okay. Was it through a publisher or did you self-publish?
It's just like online.
Okay. When you did it, and this is kind of where I want to go with this. When you did it, was the furthering of the story incumbent on who was engaging with it?
No, it wouldn't have been. No.
Right. Which is kind of my take as an indie creative, right? Every story that I've ever done, and let me be like as frank as possible. In October, I celebrated 15 years of being a full-time creative in this business, right? But I can tell you, I don't think that I have sold 1,000 units of any of my books. So in terms of sales structure, I am very low on the totem pole for someone who has been in the game for as long as I have and have accrued the reputation that I've gotten, right? So what I mean by that is in no way, shape, or form should sales dictate the continuation of the storytelling or the output. It doesn't necessarily have to do that at all. It might affect the timeliness of it, but not in terms of whether or not you finish what you were going to do. That's not it. The only way that should happen is if your business model is incumbent on a certain amount of return at a certain speed, right? If I look at the books that I have invested in, and let me be frank on this one, going back to the AI part, I've not used AI for any art that I've ever published. I have hired creatives, people that I've worked with, people that I know, and that does not change my perspective on AI. I still will give anybody their credence for, hey, if this is how you wanted to create, this is how you could create, good for you. It's not what I've used, but that doesn't mean how I've done it is how you have to do it. I have invested hard-earned dollars in order to hire very talented people to work with. In fact, quick plug, my goal now is to not hire people that are active in the indie market right now. I want more Marvel, DC, Dark Horse level artists now to showcase what my evolution has been as a writer and publisher. So with all due respect to anybody that's brand new in the game or has semi-pro, I'm not looking at you because I'm actually trying to reach a little higher with what I'm doing. And I know I have to pay the cost to be the boss. Okay, so parenthetically on all that, if what I've done, what I've created, and I've got 10 series out, multiple issues under most of them, if it did not require a certain sales metric for me to finish that work, I don't see how this impacts any part of what we do as indies. Because as an independent, what we recognize is that the time frame of making back our return is infinite. It is forever. I can still sell Samaritan #1, which will be on its 15-year release this coming March. I can sell #1 to 1,000 people next year, and it will be more in sales than I've ever made off of that book. And it's still my highest selling book, my highest selling series, but I've never moved 1,000 units of it. So the time frame, the money that I invested way back then, I'm still making back today. And I can always do that because that is something that is in my wheelhouse, that is my product to control on every level. And that's in the spirit of being a true indie. And I say that with respect to Image, which creator owned is not the same as independent.
Yeah.
And I think that's a very specific place to kind of have to kind of balance out information, because a lot of times we do look at Image Comics as indie. They're not. There's a third party entity that is going to handle shipping, distribution, promotions, things like that. Yes, you still have to do a lot of it. But yeah, like you put the Image I, that's a brand that speaks volumes for you that you don't have to say, right? So there's a ton of things that have to go into it. There's a certain amount of money that it has to make for them to continue the production of that project. But as an independent, that's not true, right? That's not there for us. So for us, Piracy is simply a matter of literally giving access to a story that maybe over time will bring back dividends. And the other part that's great about it is the dividend return doesn't necessarily have to be in the sale of comics. It can be in merch. It can be in all kinds of stuff that if we as independents have access to, different platforms, things that we integrate into it, it works out. Let's say you never bought a copy of The Samaritan from me, right? That's what, 8 issues that I currently sell at, we'll say $3 a pop, right? That's $24 of potential gross income, not even net, but gross income, right? But let's say you buy a $35 t-shirt from me of The Samaritan. You've actually given me more than you would have if you supported my books. And chances are I'm using artwork from one of the books, so it's not like I'm having to pay an additional fee in order to do that. Like, there are ways that, again, even in this regard, the piracy factor does not hurt me in the way that it's presented. Especially when, again, the idea is not that I'm selling you a product. I'm not interested in selling you a product. I'm interested in selling you an experience. And the experience sometimes is not in the book. It's the t-shirt, it's the buttons, it's the stickers. It's the thing that you put on your stuff that you walk around with, that other people are like, hey, what's that? And now you've generated a sale because you've had an experience. Because that's the thing that I really want to sell to you, is the experience, not the content. Content, take it. And again, when I say how raw of a person I am when it comes to that, even if somebody stole one of my stories, like legitimately, right? And we've had this conversation on here. The sentiment about Luke Cage on Netflix was that they had a copy of The Samaritan on set. I was told this, right? In the second episode, there's a dude arbitrarily named Victor for no reason. This dude never comes back in the series ever. Why did they name him that? I think it's a shout out. I'm not gonna lie, I do. What do I say? Do I point at them? Oh, they stole from me. No, I say that they are a multi-million-dollar commercial for my book. If you like Luke Cage, you'll love The Samaritan. That is the way that we feed into this. Legitimately, we don't fight it. We feed it and then take back what we can from it. Because if you keep trying to stop it, you're always going to lose. You can't stop that. That is a process of hunger, interest, and those are the things that you don't want to stop. You're only questioning what you get out of it, but you just got to reframe your thought process. If you were going to do the book anyway, you were going to do the book anyway. It doesn't matter how many sales it got. You just got to figure out a way that you can do so comfortably that will make sense for your production needs. If that means one issue a year, it's one issue a year.
It's funny you're mentioning all the merch and stuff, and how that the merch purchases is better is a good part of what piracy can lead to. While
Absolutely.
I'm wearing bootleg Paul Thomas Anderson merch right now.
Yo, I mean,
that ain't going in his
I wouldn't know
pocket.
it was bootleg until you told me.
Well, yeah, I don't think anyone's putting out Phantom Thread T-shirts. So,
I mean, could be now. They know there's an audience of at least one.
Have you pirated comics ever? 74% of you said yes.
Just
26% said no, and they're liars.
word.
no, we do have some newer people that are newer to comics fandom in the sphere who are already in a place where they can put money towards comics. And I think I think Christian's one of them, right? Like he got into it and went full throttle and just started buying all this shit. And I think it's
going
great.
Back into what defines piracy, does getting books from the library count?
No.
Why not?
It's
one purchase distribute it so that anyone can get it for free.
It's the
Is that not
library.
piracy?
That's a public service.
I
So is
think
piracy. Like that's kind of what we're saying.
I
And
think yeah, the concept of piracy in a in a digital space, even in a physical space. Well, no, I don't know. Physical, I don't co-sign stealing books. But in a digital space, I think just the idea of piracy, we have to like. There's so much to pull apart and pick apart because there are ways. Victor's right. There are ways that are the endorsed ways to
Right.
read comics for free. What difference does it make if it's endorsed versus not? Why does Hoopla having something available make it okay for me to consume that? But if it's not there, then I shouldn't have the ability to read it at all unless I pay. What is that line and why does it exist? Why can I go on Spotify to listen to, Spirit Box, but if I go and I can go on YouTube and listen, but if I go on stealthissong.com, that's wrong. Like, how does that get sliced up and why?
Yeah, like we all have individual logins to DC Infinite, right?
Yes. Yep.
So, that's of course sanctioned.
Yeah.
right. But if you used his login, would that not be sanctioned?
Apparently. And now we're not saying that we do, but apparently.
And that's
Marco,
why I think this is such a problem.
I don't think we brought it up on this show, on this episode, but like even on DC Infinite, you said, Marco, you found.
Yes. Oh, I was gonna bring that up, Victor. I was first mover for DC Infinite app, right? When it was still clunky, when it was still part of like
Because the Swamp Thing
Max.
show was on there.
Yeah, exactly. Literally. I was going through the comic stuff. They were using pirated comics, the stuff that you would see on like Read All Comics. Like the Hydra head at the
Yeah.
end of an issue. I was going through books and I'm like, no way, dude. Like, they were using the scans.
pirated versions of their own stuff.
They were
That's
using the
Yeah.
scans. Like
That's
I,
amazing.
I don't see them anymore. I haven't come across them. I guess they've been cleaned up. But at the onset, that's what they were using because that's probably what they had access to because they would
Yeah.
have to go to their archives. That's money.
That's wild.
Spittle says library only has one copy of the item and they lend it to you. They're giving out thousands of copies.
No, it's still one copy.
Right? Yeah,
It's just
yeah.
a-
No,
it's just a-
I think they is reference to piracy.
that's what I'm saying. It's
Yeah.
still just one copy, though.
You're just
It's the same
accessing.
copy.
Oh, I see.
Just
Yeah.
being, accessed by a bunch of different people, but it's the same copy. It's over time, it's the exact same concept, right? How many people read an individual issue from a library over time? It can be millions.
There are also, I mean, if you're talking about the physical one copy, as Spittle pointed out, that like there are a lot more losers when you steal something physically than digitally. Like if you walk into a comic book shop and you
Mhm.
steal a comic off the shelf, you're taking money out of their pocket because they paid
Sure.
for it and now they
Yeah.
can't sell it.
Right.
So that I'll never be able to co-sign that. We're
Right.
not talking about fruits and vegetables. You don't need to eat. You can't eat comics, and if you can, you're
You-
fucking weird.
You just said there were scrumptious last week on Palace Pools. You were eating them. Come on.
I was lying. Lying. Or
Wow.
maybe I'm lying now. Who knows? But yeah, like that is materially different because you're talking about material
Mhm.
versus not. I don't think that's a fair comparison. Hoopla is not piracy style so serious. We're just saying like if that's not piracy, then what is? Because it's a very similar concept. But again, yes, one is allowed to do what they are doing, co-signed by the corporations.
Right.
The other is not. And really that's the only difference.
And I'm even going into saying the intent, right? If the intent of the store is to sell a copy to make their money back, that's their intent. A torrent is not intending to make any money off of it, right? And chances are somebody somewhere had to buy it. So there was some purchase and then a distribution dissemination process that was put in place without the intent of making anything back. That's the library. They buy books often. Sometimes they're giving them for free, but they buy books with the intent of allowing people to take them, read them, and then give them back. That is always the intent. But the idea is that they're not necessarily designed to make money off of it. So that's one-time purchase, and sometimes it's wholesale, so they're like retailers. They're not even like, that's not the most value that could be coming from that book towards that book. They're getting a discount and giving it away for free.
Shout out to those hosters, man, doing God's work.
Listen, if you're a hoster and you want some Vantage in-house books, get at me. I got you.
There it is.
I got you. I want
Victor,
the readers.
I want to throw this your way.
Let's go.
I was once on a stream with a creator who said, he said, I went on Piracy website
Mhm.
and I looked at the sales of my book,
Mhm.
and I got so angry. Or not the sales, the readership of my book.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I got so angry because there were hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands of views,
Mhm.
and I'm here and I can barely, pay my rent. What, I'm paraphrasing, but that was the essential
Sure.
point the individual was making. How does that land where you're at? That statement, that idea. I know you've spoken about like your philosophy, but that
Yeah.
exact statement, how does
Mhm.
that land on you?
It's stating that what they put their value in is the sales of the product. And that's the problem, right? As business people, what we have to do, and this is the hard part for so many creatives. Creatives are not great business people. Like, it's just the truth, right? So what we have to do is we have to look at, sometimes the thing that we want to create is not the thing that we will make the money off of. If you have hundreds of thousands of people reading your content, great. That means that you invest less in the physical, requirements for your content. You know that that's not where the value is, but instead you should be communicating to these people. If there's all these different readers, you go, hey, I'm the creator of such and such. I want y'all's emails so I can put you on a newsletter list, so I can tell you what's the new thing that I'm coming out with. If you have a big enough, I mean, imagine that. Like, you guys have over 6,000 subscribers to your account right now, right? To your channel, which is amazing. I have 142. If I could get access to all of the emails that you guys have, that's huge to me. That is huge. The value of that is so big, I can't even express like authentically what that would mean. And if I can translate 10% of that into physical buyers on a consistent basis, then I don't have that situation. I don't have that I'm struggling out here, because what I've done is I've actively engaged my audience as opposed to expecting them to engage with what I've given them. I've gone to them to find out what they want, and I have built that. And that's part of the problem of us as creatives. We will create a thing and we will build an expectation of how we want people to interact with it, but we're not listening to them tell us what they actually prefer, and then building what we have based on that. That's part of the problem, right? I think that's in business structures everywhere. If you don't listen to what your audience is telling you, you will fail.
Got to
I love
remarket
that.
to them.
Now, I want to ask you a follow-up question, if I can.
Mhm.
How many years have you been living and dying by your art?
For me personally,
Yeah.
15.
So you haven't had another job.
So that's the interesting part, right? Where I live exactly what I'm saying, right? So I started Vantage In-House and You Create Comics at the same time, right? So I have a publishing imprint, and then I have my going into schools teaching you how to make comics imprint. One fueled the other, right? One of them is far more valuable outright than the other one is. The comic side was technically a loss leader, right? I wasn't making money off of that part, but I literally, within my first year of starting You Create Comics, was making $165 an hour for workshops. So, and in order to get the workshops, I showed that I had work that I had produced. So I can say, this is what it takes to make comics because I make comics. This is what this is. Boom, 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 boom. I have all ages. I have young adult. I have mature. I have comics for everybody. So I can show anyone how to make comics. And this is what that gets me in terms of You Create. But I need Advantage In-House to be a part of that equation, right? To verify and showcase what it is that I can do. So yes, I've had other jobs, but they all work in tandem with this. which is kind of what I'm saying. If I wanted to just produce comics and only live and eat off of comics, then I'm the dummy because I'm not paying attention to what the market is telling me as a business person. I came into the industry where there was a lot of big name guys that were going into the creator owned space. So it was very crowded. Like, you got to remember, like, the same year that I launched Vantage In-House is the same year that Miller World came out. That's tough. That's tough, right? Because I mean, you're talking about Mark, who already has movie deals. He's already got all kinds of things, and I'm trying to make noise in the same space. Now, did I figure out a way to do so? Yes. Was it inherently just the comics? No. But that's kind of what it takes. It's a matter of finding ways that you can build off of these things so that they do feed what you ultimately want, which is stability and sustainability, right? Like, that's kind of where that is. And in fact, where it has gone in this now, 15-year journey, my new job that I was headhunted for is deputy director of operations for an arts resource nonprofit organization. All of that is a buildup to what I was doing, what I started with Vantage In-House all those years ago. Like, it all fits together and builds up to this. And now, because of all of those things, without being too tacky, I am now looking at a 6-figure a year lifestyle. That's what it built to. It's not a matter of this one thing has to do exactly this. It is, I want to do this. I'm doing this. What is the response? What am I getting as a business person? And when I say, like, being as flexible as possible, from 2011, I would say, I'll give it to 2012. 2012 to 2015, the main thing that I was showcasing when I would exhibit at conventions was not my comics. It was my 8-bit art, because it was outselling my comics. It was outselling my comics so badly that I did not put comics on the table. Like, I took them off. And I had my 8-bit challenge game that became very popular. Everyone called me the 8-bit guy. That was who I was. And so that's how I met you guys. Like, it was no. I think I met you guys after.
I met you because I was a fan of the Samaritan.
Okay, so it was definitely after that. But, like, again, recognizing I wanted comics to be my bread and butter, but it wasn't my bread and butter. Do I fight against the tide, or do I work with the tide and figure out what I need to do in order to make this my bread and butter? When I got the deal with Wizard World, where I was going to be a featured artist and they were going to pay for my table, my transpo, and my hotel, so I had virtually no overhead, I dropped the 8-bits and brought all my comics back. Because now I don't have to earn back as much in order to be in the comic convention market. Then I bring out all these books that I kept making despite the fact that there weren't great sales of them. And so all of a sudden, when everyone's like, yo, when did you start doing this? I'm like, I've been doing this the whole time. Oh, I didn't know that. I thought you just did the 8-bit art. No, I did these books too. Oh, well, let me check this out. And now I have a whole range of books because I kept going, because it wasn't a matter of the sales dictating whether or not I still did it. I did it because I wanted to. That was my artistic outlet. I was going to do it no matter what. That's me as a creative. Me as a business person, I have to figure out what ways am I going to eat off of this and be able to pivot, but still stay true to what I want creatively. That's my responsibility. I can't come into a space, well, I made this stuff and y'all should be buying. No. I have to earn your dollars. I have to earn your dollars. It doesn't matter how good what I think I've created is. I still have to earn your money. I'm not entitled to it.
And even then, right, I've produced the comics, but you saw the opportunity to be able to say, there's a sphere of what comics is. I'm now tapping into an educational piece, an in-person piece. Like, there are different slices of the pie, or you just make your own pie, dude.
Yes.
And Victor, call me out on this if I'm talking out of turn, but like, you went in with, as a creative, yes, but that's only an aspect.
Right.
You went in with a whole, what's the word I'm looking for here? Kind of a whole business plan, really, across the board. Which
but
okay.
Let me be frank.
Yeah.
This was not the business plan from the onset. This was a lot of, and it's so funny that I'm getting to say this right now, it's a lot of do, revise, do again.
Sure. I think, to go back to what Sean was asking, though, with the creative that saw his pirated comics I almost stopped saying his because I didn't want to like out who this creator is, but I'm like, it's comics.
Gotcha.
Of course, it's going to be a he. We still got issues here. But having that gut reaction to seeing Pirate Comics and the gut reaction be like, oh, that's lost money for me. I think that's fair. It's because I think you have a very specific mindset, Victor.
I do.
Whereas a guy who just wants to write comics or draw comics doesn't want to make a business.
Totally understand that.
You know? So
Totally
I think there's a little difference there. And I wouldn't fault that.
Not if anybody that wants to argue about the money that they should be making. That's a business statement.
Sure.
Whether they want to call it that or not, that is a business statement.
Sure. And I also think it's that first reaction to seeing that is a human thing.
Yes, I won't argue that.
It's you know, if I saw that, like I'm trying to put this, like if somebody were clipping our videos and making more views off of our clips, I would probably feel a little bad initially from that. You know what I mean?
But why?
I think because it doesn't feed directly into the world we're in, and the space. But that would be my initial thought. That's the thing.
Okay, which is human, like you said.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm like,
but
oh, those are lost subs.
In terms of lost subs, I question that part because the ultimate question should be: did you get the subs that you wanted? You might not have gotten all of them.
I want all of them.
Did you get the ones that you wanted? That's the thing. Like, it's kind of like okay. So going back in the day, Adam Hughes, phenomenal artist, right?
Oh yeah, little known artist, Adam Hughes.
big. There was a whole stint where he wouldn't do convention sketches anymore because it was a collective. It was him and his wife. They were upset at the resale that was happening, right? Yeah. He was charging $400 for a sketch. One person in particular, I think was at New York, was pressuring to try to get this one sketch finished before they left, right? They leave, and lo and behold, this sketch ends up the very next day on eBay for like 3 times as much.
Yeah.
And they were like, that's a problem. That's not cool. It's not this. It's not that. I'm like, whoa, time out. Did they talk you down off of the 400 that you wanted? No. So you wanted 400. They gave you 400. Well, what's the problem? Well, they are profiting off of him. You profited off of him. You got the 400 that you asked for. If you think that it's worth more, then you should be charging more, period.
Yeah.
But one of the best ways for you to find out is what he charges and gets. Because that's the other thing too, is we have this thing where, and this, I don't want to say why I think this is true, but we have this issue where we think that somebody else's win means a loss for us. That is not true. That is far from true. Because what's the worst case or best case scenario? This guy puts it on eBay, sells it for $1,200. What if he comes back to you and buys 3 more pieces? Because that's really what he wanted. What he did was he hustled in order to give you more business for his own ends. That's what capitalism is. That's what we're supposed to do. That's how it's supposed to work. You can't be mad when it works. When you are positioning yourself in a position. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're mad when it works because you put yourself in a position where you're not capitalizing the most. Well, you didn't put yourself in that position. You got what you asked for. So, like, the guy that saw hundreds of thousands of views, did he get 0 sales? Because then there's something that you're not doing right. And you have to look at that. You have to go, what am I not doing right that hundreds of thousands of people like my content, but they're not willing to buy it? What am I doing? I'm doing something wrong.
There's a comment I wanted to tackle here just because it's from someone new. Adriana Kimbrough says, is an indicator of piracy a location that is providing materials to a wider base, but also maybe that distributor is receiving a monetary supplement themselves? Thank you for the comment, Adriana. I mean, I think that probably distributors are not, if I'm reading this correctly, they're probably not involved in the piracy pipeline.
I don't know about that one. With what we've learned about Diamond, and the way that they got down, I would not be surprised.
Involved in terms of not getting a cut or involved as
I would
in
not be surprised
providing
if
the
aspects of
things that
Diamond-
people
yeah,
are scanned.
providing
Okay.
means of getting piracy out there.
I am not going to co-sign that because I don't think Diamond would want that. I think that hurts Diamond's pockets, Diamond and a retailer's pockets the most. So they go ahead, Tyler.
I would say I don't think they have anything to do with it now. Because of the way digital comics works, that is a better than any kind of scan that will happen. So all pirated stuff right now is just scans of the digital release.
Mhm.
Sure. Right.
But back when it was physical scans, I'm sure there was probably something fell off the truck.
Yeah.
But that's not Diamond. That's retailers. You said it before yourself, Victor.
No. I'm saying retailers are part of the pipeline, right? Because it's publishers, distributors, and retailers will all get it before consumers can. So all three of them have the opportunity to produce this stuff the fastest or the earliest. All three.
You're not putting a finger in anyone's direction, just saying, hey, these are the ones who have access to it.
Right. And each iteration would have been a step earlier in that process. I was always trying to get nice with the homie at the shop, bro. But I come in on a Tuesday. Like,
I used to be able to come in on Tuesdays at my old shop. Yeah,
dude.
Until they got racist there, that was bad.
Oh,
I mean, there's always that. The direct market itself started with that process. That there were books that were overprinted that were sold out the back door of Marvel to guys directly so that they could get it ahead of everybody else. That's the basis for how Diamond even started. So would I say now that it's not possible? No, I would never say that's not possible. And in fact, again, using Krakoa as the basis is probably more likely that they started it. Once you see that this is a thing that can happen and there is any sort of exchange of value, it is your job to jump in. That's why Shooter did that. When he started seeing what's this 10% for? And they're like, oh, well, there's this thing that's happening. He's like, no, then let's do it. Let's make this a thing. And it changed the industry. I think if Diamond starts doing it, then it changes the whole trajectory of everything. They still are in a position where they're still getting their money off of print runs from publishers. They're still getting the distributor payments from retailers, but they are seeding readership because that's the point.
I want to read this comment from Chandasuk, who followed over here from Nearmint as well. Says, Hoopla saved my ass tons of times trying out tons of books. I buy physicals of things I really like. Kind of like my small Blu-ray collection too, which is mostly DC animated shows.
Cool.
And yeah, like Chanda says Hoopla saved his ass. And awesome. For somebody whose morality or ethics are tethered to I'm not going to pirate something, then those are resources that person needs to have. I just can't stop asking myself the question in my mind of what's the difference between Hoopla and X website? Is it about how it makes you feel about what you're doing? I think so. I think that's really what it comes down to, is how it makes you feel about what you're doing. And it's so important to remember that we don't all feel the same way about things.
Right.
So how much should my moral perspective impact your life and what you can do?
I think keeping in the capitalist mindset there.
That's your default, Marco.
Hold on.
But keeping in my mindset,
there's probably a negative connotation to the concept of access for free, of being granted a thing, and so there has to be a formalized or sanctioned way to access for free that says, hey, actually this was okay. This was okay. It's inherently okay, but this was okay because the people who would have otherwise capitalized off of would have said otherwise. And so Hoopla library, that's cool because we said that was cool, the people who were making the money. But the piracy stuff, we didn't say that was cool. You didn't access through a platform that we sanctioned.
I think there's also a morally superior complex that comes from some parts of the fandom that they buy their books and anyone who pirates it is lesser than. It's a real climbing the ladder and then pulling the ladder up with me while everyone gets to, fucking fumbles at the bottom there, which I think is an issue with capitalism in general. that I had to pay for it, you should too.
Right.
Yeah, Aaron here makes both Aaron and Spittle make the mark about Hoopla paying for license, right? They have
There's a change of monetary, yeah.
right, that has happened, and I guess similarly for libraries to some degree, right? Like I'll
Right.
donate a book, but
Yeah.
still, like these are ways that have been sanctioned by the people who would have otherwise made money off of X thing.
And I
And
believe there
also,
are library copies of books too, like versions that are actually much more expensive from the publisher.
and also, Spittle, I think you're missing the point of this by saying your morality does not equal what is right. Like that is exactly what we're saying. That is exactly what we're saying. We're saying your morality doesn't equal what is right. Neither does mine. How do we live in a world where we don't control each other? You want to say this is morally wrong. You shouldn't do this, and you want to like you expect that something is going to happen to me because we morally are not on the same page, but nothing's going to happen to me. So then that makes you feel a certain kind of way, but that doesn't impact me. The point of the conversation is to have it, but I can't influence what you do and you can't influence what I do.
I would hazard and warn that stuff happens. I remember those commercials. If I pirated a movie, dude, the cops would be outside my door. I still sweat about that.
Do you know the funny story about that? The would you download a car? Remember that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Or like
Would you download a car?
the funny part was, and this came out I think last year, the font that they used for that
Shut up.
was never purchased.
That's so funny.
They pirated the font, and I bet you
Sick.
everyone who's worked on any kind of graphic has pirated a font before.
Absolutely.
Which is art.
Absolutely.
I would say it's a really specific form of art that's really hard. I've bought Blambot fonts before. You can buy a font. So like it's what is the difference there? Besides your comfort and making yourself feel better.
Oya Boom Comics with the $4.99. What comics you putting out, brother? I want to know about that.
Bun Comics is what he's putting out. Bun Comics.
I'm sure by now I've spent the money on Omnis, Epic Collections, and Marvel Unlimited that I would have if I had it back when I was pirating in school.
Marco just put up a poll saying, would you download a car?
I mean, that's the messed up question too, because a car, as soon as you drive it off the lot, drops in value. So like that's what a weird question to kind of verify this off of.
Spittle says we have a law that says we can't. You can change the law, or the system changes when Netflix or Spotify makes it easier to stream than steal movies, TV shows. Okay, but let me crack your head open here, right?
Whoa.
Because I jaywalk. That's illegal.
No, it's legal in New York now.
Well, whatever. Yeah. I've done it in every state I've ever been in.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of other. I drank before I was 21. That's illegal. Do you want to know how many things I've done? How many things probably you have done, most people have done that are actually illegal that you might not even know is illegal? There are states where, well, I don't want to say this because I don't know if it's a fact, but I was going to say there are states where interracial relationships are not legal. I don't know if that's still a fact, but that being illegal at some, does that make it immoral? If you tie the law one-to-one with morality, that's a fallacy right there, bro. Yeah. The law has nothing to do with what is moral. Right. Do you think it is immoral to smoke weed? It's a federally regulated drug.
That's the devil's lettuce, Sean.
Right.
Well, I mean, okay, even going back to alcohol, right? The age of legal drinking has changed. So that means that the morality of it has shifted. Then that's not a real moral standing, right?
Spittle, Spittle or Spittle, I don't know. I would recommend checking out our video, our superheroes propaganda, that is on the channel, because we get into a lot of the idea of law versus justice versus morality and all that, and not all of them are even the same.
I think there's only one superhero that's legitimately legal. That's Captain America.
Even then, he went nomad.
Huh?
He went nomad mode for a bit too.
No, that's Steve Rogers. I'm saying Captain America.
Oh, as a title.
As a specific title that is the only legal one that is basically an officer duly appointed and made whole by the government. Like, I think he's the only one that you can consistently say he's always legal. Batman's not always legal. Superman's not always legal. Daredevil definitely ain't legal, and he knows it.
He's legal. Well, he's legally blind.
Dude,
Is
fuck
he
all
though?
that.
Is he?
It
though?
wasn't
But good
legal
point,
for
good
Victor
point.
and I to walk into the same space as a white person. I'm not hearing it.
True.
I'm not hearing it.
True.
You cannot tie law to morality. That's
True.
not logical.
Listen, there's a water fountain that if we touched it,
Yeah.
we were
I'm
going
not
to
hearing
jail if we were lucky. Okay. Otherwise, we swinging from trees. That is not a moral statement. Right.
That's a fact.
Christ, dude.
That's a fact.
Yes.
Entertain me with the 5 spot. I paid, so you do too. GOP politics, no free healthcare or education. We still live in a third world country.
Oh,
Preach it.
hey now.
Dang.
Preach it.
Entertain me is preaching there.
Listen, that was my whole argument with the whole student loans thing. Well, I had to pay my student loans, and wasn't that hard?
Yep.
Wasn't that
word.
hard? Didn't that if you could save the world for other people, is that not a goal?
Yeah.
Like,
Yo, people want to bring up the ladder with them. I don't get that.
man, it's one of the worst things ever. Like, and yes, I understand, and I'm gonna throw my children under the bus with this one.
Whoa.
My kids are more entitled to things than I was growing up because I've provided for them opportunities that weren't guaranteed for me. And so they don't have the same appreciation for it. And I understand that that's a risk. But I will tell you right now, I will do it again and again and again, if not better, each time I do it, because I'd rather have the responsibility of teaching my children to not be entitled pricks than to suffer unnecessarily because that's what I did. No, absolutely not.
Nido Kuril, sorry if I butchered your name, says, if not for pirating in my childhood, I wouldn't be a comics fan, just saying. But here's a unique situation. I grew up in Russia, and we didn't have a lot of translated books, especially not DC. So first of all, thank you. I have never seen your name before. Thank you for commenting. Second of all, that is an excellent point. That is an excellent point.
Yes.
There are places that just simply don't have access.
Right.
You shouldn't be allowed to read it then, Sean.
Right.
So wait. I want to use that and go back to your guy that saw that so many hundreds of thousands of people were reading. Did they look and see where they were?
Yeah.
What if it was what if it was in a place that he couldn't have gotten his books to?
Yeah.
Like, would that change things? Because I'm not gonna lie, like, let me see that there are hundreds of thousands of Vantage In-House fans in France that I've never had access to put direct distribution out there. I would still love that.
That's where I was like, I think it's a fair gut reaction, but I think it needs to be sat with a bit.
Yeah.
I think that
Before you
it's
respond.
data, first of all, that you may be able to use, and it's also more nuanced than just a number. And that's also, shit, that number can change based on if somebody's got a computer crash and they had to refresh.
Sure.
Also true.
Yeah.
Also true.
Dan Trudeau says, I don't know if free healthcare and free comics are at the same scale. I don't think you can argue we have a right to comics.
Well, okay, I think we can agree that it's not the same scale. Then I'm with you, Dan.
We said that in jest.
Yeah, and you know, who has the right to comics in and of itself is a bizarre idea to wrap my head around, right?
Yeah, there's nobody has a right to that. I think they have a right to art, being able to see it. Like I always thought it was funny. Hamilton always gave me the heebie-jeebies a bit, in terms of art, because it was the play.
Okay.
Because it was a play that borrowed heavily from hip hop culture, from in a medium that was prohibitively expensive to be enjoyed by the same culture it played off of. And that's where it's like the right to art was always like, I think, like, yes, I do think that I think somebody who's listening to Busta Rhymes should be able to also check out Hamilton. But right, I don't know if is the word there.
You've seen it, yes?
I've never seen the play live. No.
Okay. What I will tell you, and I have no idea if this is done on purpose or not, but I will say contextually, it does still fit into the model of what our current distribution structure is. Because if you listen to it, it is virtually the same thing.
Oh yeah, I've listened to it and I've
there's-
watched it on Disney Plus and stuff. Yeah.
But like, so the experience of it, right? You could say the experience of the play is different than what the play Hamilton is, right? So you can still experience the story by listening to the music, which you can stream just like you could Busta Rhymes, like through those different platforms, Apple Music, Spotify, Pandora. You can listen to it and you can still experience it in the same way of what it's borrowing from, but there's a different level that you can actually pay to go to and experience, which would then be like going to a concert, because you can listen to hip hop all day but never have afforded a concert ticket.
I would push back on that specifically to say that I think that the creation of it is all of those parts in one to seeing it live. I think that's what a theater is. It's everything as one. I think once you get into like that becomes like the commercial side of theater. But I think like to bring it back to comics is that comics doesn't have those different ways of viewing things.
Right.
Like a comic is a comic. It's a very specific piece of art. You can't read a comic script and say, "Oh, I read that comic. I enjoyed that." You can't even really look at the
requires something different.
Yeah, then you're
not a comic.
It's not a comic. Yeah, you're reading a script. That's why I like if you're just looking at art and all the dialogue was gone, you got half of it, but it's not a comic book. You know.
I think you get some pushback on that
one because it was it was written still, so you're still getting
no. Like so, what we had in the early 2000s, the Nuff Said issues of comics that came out.
Let me
words.
Yeah. Let me rephrase that. It's not saying that it's not a comic book. It's not the comic book that was created.
Right.
Yeah.
There you go.
Now we have been having this conversation for 2 hours, so. I am really pleased with this conversation, not because we all agree, but because I think that it is important to tease your brain. You know, it's important to tease your brain. It's important to have conversations that you don't agree with everybody on necessarily. And no, there is no result from this. None of us have the capacity to affect change in this space, but we do have the capacity to talk about it. And, you know, hopefully arrive at a place where, hey, maybe the chat doesn't agree with what I said or Victor said or whomever, but like we talked about it. We've thought about it. And that's the point.
I would even go as far as to say, not even just us talking about it, is live what you said. If you live what you said, that is exactly the way it should go, because that's your authentic truth. You're living in it. You're doing it. That's the way that it should be. Like I said, I am not against it. And if anybody wants to get a collection of Vantage In-House books to put on their torrent site, let me know, and I will gladly send it to you. Because again, I want readership more than I crave sales. Sales will come. I'm not worried about that part. I want the readership.
Very valid. Very, very valid. And for what it's worth, fucking if somebody bigger than us wants to rip this and post this shit, please do, because I guarantee you whatever you're doing on your channel ain't as good as what we're doing over here, and people will see this and say, hey, who were those guys? I want to hear them more. They're going to find us, they're going to come here, they're going to subscribe, and they'll be in the fold.
And we could do a copyright claim.
Bring it on.
No. Don't stop your train from coming, bro. Yeah, don't do the copyright claim. Hit them up and go, hey,
YouTube does it automatically.
Send people our way. Now, if YouTube does it on its own, that's
it's a huge issue in the streamer space right now. So,
but no, don't stop your train from eating. That's I always tell people that, like, don't get in the way of what you can utilize. Find a way to utilize it before you ever try to stop it. Don't do that.
Turn a negative into a positive. Electrics with the 50 SEK, 2 very interesting hours. Gotta have a wheel spin. You are totally right, my brother. We got to the goal in the chat, so we will play the GOAT game a little later. Hopefully we still have Victor for that, because I would love to have his involvement. And yeah, let's throw a wheel spin out there. The
Sure.
show is far from over, by the way, guys. We've got DC solicits to chat about. We're going to talk about AI art again because one of my favorite creators of all time has come under fire, and I'm heartbroken.
Is it Andy?
Stuart
Okay.
Immonen?
No.
Ooh.
Okay.
Ooh.
So we got highlight a book. I have a
Ooh.
book I can highlight.
Well, I think the guests should
Sure.
highlight it.
You know what? I'll grab the book just in case we get it again. But yeah, go ahead,
Yeah.
Victor.
Tyler looked a little impish on that, like a little devious.
Uh,
All right.
Victor, a book you've recently checked out, a book you're interested in that you want to let the listeners know that's fun?
Man.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to use this to plug my brother, Mike Watson. He's got some big stuff happening. And for those that don't know, my roots as being the hardest working man in comics started with Freestyle Comics, which is Mike's imprint. I wrote the first 6.5 issues of his flagship title, Hot Shot, which is now getting ready to get a big boost from fellow indie creators. He's got this storyline called The Gauntlet, where it's almost like 10 issues of Hot Shot that are not only being written by other indie writers, but it's featuring their characters as well. So Mike is creating a storytelling platform that is uplifting other people because Freestyle Comics is doing very, very well. And kind of like we're saying, is using this platform to build, emphasis and eyes for other people. That's a huge opportunity, and I love it. I'm not even a part of it. Like, that's not even the storyline that I'm writing or I'm contributing to in any way, shape, or form. I just love what it is because it's such a great community factor. It's putting a lot of eyes on a lot of different people, and it's putting different creatives to work, which is fantastic. So I got to give a shout out to Hot Shot as a series. Definitely look for The Gauntlet. I want to say issue 13 just recently came out, and I think the Gauntlet starts at 14 or 15, and it's going to go till, I think, issue 24, 25. So big shout out to the Gauntlet. Big shout out to Mike Watson, Freestyle Comics. That's comics with a K. Definitely look them up. Tell them Vic sent you. Big shout out to that.
And since you were so amazing about plugging your boy, why don't you plug yourself, man?
All right, I suppose. Vantage In-House is my imprint. We have a range of everything that you want to read, from all ages, teens, young adults, mature. Now, I'm going to tell you something that I did that Sean's probably he's going to jab me for. I did use ChatGPT just last night to create a, how do I want to put this? It is going to be an email aggregator, right? So you come to my site, you put this in to capture your email, but what I'm going to give you is a recommendation for a Vantage In-House book that fits what your reading interests are. And so in order to build this, I totally went to ChatGPT because I'm not a web developer. I don't know how to do that. I wasn't even sure if it's something I could do, which is why I went to ChatGPT to ask that question. Can I do this? And the idea is there are 5 titles that I will recommend to you, 2 in the all ages category, 1 for teens, 1 for young adults, 1 for mature. And based on what you're interested in, not only will I recommend that to you, I will send you a special PDF that I will be creating, no AI in it. I will be creating it to give you a little bit of insight, some back information, and a couple of previews of that particular piece, as well as the means to buy it from my print-on-demand store, Indie Planet, which is open 24 hours all the time. There is no sold out. There is no close. You can buy it. It is printed fresh, shipped to you directly. That's the Vantage In-House or the VIP experience that you will get by rocking with us.
I love it. I've been a fan of Victor's work for 12 years, something like that. So, I think conversations like this, I love having creators on for stuff like this because, like, we get to go deeper than just what did you make? Like, who are you?
It's so
and Victor's a
appreciated.
great brother, and
It's so appreciated.
I want to make sure that everybody knows, like, at least to me, like if someone like with Rob, people were saying Rob's a piece of garbage. Rob Jefferson, Comics Explained, because he pirated a book. Is that where we're at as a society?
Bigger fish to fry.
Like, is that where we really are? Where we feel comfortable?
That's wild.
Saying like making direct statements about like the totality of a person's character
that's
because of one thing they did that really didn't harm anybody.
And
He
it's not
didn't.
even necessarily that he did that. It's just
Right.
the thing that he used is
Right.
from this.
We don't even know all the
Right.
realities behind it.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, listen, Rob has supported me as a creative in so many different ways. My book, The Trouble with Love, he actually did an episode on. It's one of the biggest, best things I've ever had on the internet about some of my work. He pushed the Kindergarten's trade paperback Kickstarter to funding a couple years back. Like he supports comics and creatives across the board. Like, do not get that twisted by thinking that he is somehow not supportive of comics and creativity. He absolutely is. Not only does he love comics, not only does he love creators, he loves his fans. So give that man way more respect than that, because that's ridiculous.
I co-sign that for sure.
Links
Now,
in the
ahead.
in the chat for the stream as well. So if anybody's interested, please go ahead. And seconding Trouble with Love, that one still sticks with me. I love that stuff.
I did send you guys Never Too Late, didn't I? Did I send that to
yeah.
you?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I want to make sure. That's the sequel to The Trouble with Love, y'all. I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah.
And it's awesome.
Thank you.
Now, I do want to shout out the people who make this show possible, our sponsors, you all, the listeners. Patreon.com/thecomicspals is the best way to support the show, support your boys. Look, YouTube ain't piracy. So please feel free to engage with us for free. But if you want to go the extra mile, we try to give you bang for your buck because we love you. So, special shout out to our pals vs. Legends, the Hound of Justice, Atomic Hound, Starcross, Catherine Stars, the Spear of Judgment, Jay's Jumble, Jalen Jackson, the Sanguine Sorcerer, Safe Haven, Hayden's Hideout, Jesse and the Juggernaut, Kyle the Zenith, Panda v Panda, Ted Wong, Adams, the Soulless, Smith, Sam, the Last Young Renegade, Blur, Jekyll Jose. And thank you to Pals vs. Members, the Night Stalker, Harris Sajinski, Brian Demolisher Del Pozo, Kefis the Incorruptible, Momentum Mike Elliott, Dan the Truth Trudeau, Marley Manastorm, Slow Flow Dameron, Christian Uncaged, The Spirit of Justice, Always Laughing, Pete, the Dreamweaver, Collins, my guy, James Just Jamming Jones, Paul Powerhouse Smith, Neon Knight the Cosmic Avenger, Matthew the Shade, Cosmo, the Grand Alchemist, Chop Harder, Alchemist, John Barrier B. And I should have said his name earlier, Peter, the Living Lightning Electrics, who upped his Patreon situation to the highest tier. He's a Pals vs. Legend as well, and entertained me, who rejoined us last week. So thank you both for hanging out with us at that tier. You make all this possible. Really appreciate you.
Let's go.
If you didn't hear your name and you were supposed to, you will a little bit later on. Now we are in the process of doing our celebration of Vertigo. And our Vertigo book club is going to be 2 Tuesdays from now.
Yeah, the 29th. Oh, sorry,
yeah.
the 30th.
The 30th, thank you. I still have to tabulate the noms, so I will do that, and we will let you guys know what book or what books made the final four, and then what book we're going to do. We're going to have a truncated voting process, so patrons, stay aware. But for the Vertigo month, we are doing our Vertigo top 5. So today we've got to present our number 3 and our number 2 favorite Vertigo books. Victor, do you have a relationship with Vertigo? Do you love Vertigo comics? You may not have a top 5, but do you have like a number 1?
Invisibles. Invisibles is always going to be. That was Grant Morrison breaking open my brain at a point where I was learning who Grant Morrison was and what they could do with comics. And I think that's a series that made me care about Grant Morrison as a creative truly, is The Invisibles.
I love that. I still have to read that shit, man.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
Marco, how about you? You're 3 and 2.
My number 3, just pulling it up, is Y the Last Man.
So why?
Vertigo, as many will know, was my sort of avenue to come up in comics. It was that and Image, so that's my bread and butter. But Y was one of the first long form series that I feel like I really tapped into. 60 plus issues, if I'm not wrong. And I still remember being on the train reading that last volume. And like a specific event happens. I won't spoil it because it's so huge, and just crying on the train. And having that experience and being like, wow, this thing moved me so much that yeah, I absolutely adore it. So big shout out. If anybody hasn't read it, highly recommend. Go pick that up. And then the number two is Sandman. Neil Gaiman aside, I think all of the art, all of the concepts, the ideas, the fantasy, the exploration of self was it's just awesome. It hit me at a time where I was later in my reading career, so I feel like I could also appreciate it a bit more for what it was. All of the follow-ups to Overture, some of the death, like all those things, um, was what I felt like was emblematic of the title, mature readers. So big shout out. Definitely, again, go pick that up. It's a classic. Everybody knows, but big shout out.
I guess I'll go with my number three or number four. No, number three. Is also Sandman. I
Nice.
first picked it up actually is when I used to work at a Barnes and Noble. I I disregarded what the official Barnes and Noble shelves were supposed to look like for the graphic novel section because my boss didn't matter. So that's when I discovered Preludes and Nocturnes Volume One. I remember reading that while on the job. It was just if you ever went to like an older Barnes and Noble where they had like the kiosk in the middle where you could talk to people actually. I started reading it there, and that book just blew my mind. Just what I think it's the Doctor D Diner
Yeah.
issue is probably one of my favorite issues of comics of all time. I have issues 1 and issue 8 signed by Gaiman, which yikes.
No way.
Yeah.
Sorry, I still popped for that.
Yeah, I mean, I do too. Like they're just so good. 8 is first Death, and like that issue too, where Death shows up. It was just mind boggling to me as somebody who was really only reading like superhero stuff and the occasional Image book at the time. It was wild. And my next one is I think it's Vertigo posthumously. Like Vertigo kind of did that thing with some of the books where like it was rebranded as Vertigo after it came out. And that's Animal Man by Grant Morrison. Um, Animal Man, again, it's one of those things where it just opened my mind to what a superhero book is. It broke down the medium quite literally. When Buddy Baker looks at me and says, "I can see you," it exploded my ideas of what a comic could be. And I had read this after I was reading Batman, like Morrison's Batman. So Morrison was already a known quantity to me at this point. But then getting into Morrison's, earlier work, Animal Man included, was just eye opening.
Can I change my answer now? I totally want to change my answer.
Feel free.
I mean, Invisibles is great, but with the Morrison love that we're getting right now, I am going to switch up and actually say like my penultimate or my number one, not penultimate, number one is We Three. Grant and Frank Whiteley, the story that they told with that is beyond incredible. Three animals taken, subjected to what we would consider horrible, experimentation. But what they find, it could have been a Disney movie. Like it literally could have, just without like the harshness of it. But it's heartfelt. It's wonderful. You feel for these characters, and there's a beauty to everything that's in there. The storytelling is brilliant. I mean, I personally think Grant Morrison is probably one of the greatest things Vertigo ever gave us.
So many books. Seven Soldiers of Victory.
Yes.
Obviously Doom Patrol. So much stuff. Tyler, that was 24/7, the diner issue.
Yep.
And then The Sound of Her Wings also made me cry.
Yeah.
So for my number three, it's American Carnage. This is Brian Hill. I regret that I can't recall the name of the artist, but it's about a guy who is, I believe he's an FBI agent, and he is mixed race. So they use him to infiltrate the KKK. I don't even know what else I need to say.
It's Leandro Fernandez
Thank you.
of Old Guard fame. Yeah.
It's amazing. It's deeply thought provoking. Brian Hill is one of my favorite writers because he doesn't shy away from anything. And, you know, at least for me as a mixed race dude, that book really made me think because Brian Hill put the thought into, you know, wanting to explore the realities of a world in which, frankly, being mixed race can help you along more than, you know, just being black. And the book explores that concept, and it explores almost in a, for those of you who might have seen the movie In Too Deep, that explores the idea that this guy is almost being sold on some of these concepts and has to pull his way out of it. It's very fascinating. Excellent book. Must read for anybody who likes some of those deeper, meatier topics. And then my number 2 is Sheriff of Babylon. This is, of course,
Great one.
Mitch Gerrits and
Nice.
Tom King. This was the first Tom King that I read, I believe. It's an excellent fucking story. Like, I think it's just 12 issues, which is not a lot, but it's Tom pulling from some of his experiences in war, you know, as a part of the CIA. And it's a book about, you know, the military invasion of, I think it's Iraq in the book, Iraq, Afghanistan. Um,
Yeah, Afghanistan, I think.
and some of the atrocities that happened. I don't want to say on both sides, but like on both sides. Um, and it's a very thought provoking, dark, heavy book that is right up my street. To me, one of the best Tom King books that nobody talks about. And I'm not sure why that is. It's excellent. And maybe it's because people don't like Tom King's military past, but fuck that. The work is great and it speaks for itself.
Isn't it also like about the trauma of coming back? As well, I
100%.
never finished reading it. So,
Oh, well, does he
Oh.
get to come back? I don't think he does.
or at least him coming, Tom trying to channel his trauma, having come back through that.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't recall if he makes it back, but it is
No.
that in a nutshell.
Is-
And big ups to Mitch Gerrits.
Yeah, is he a military guy too?
I don't know about
Because
that.
I know he did that Punisher book way back when too, which is very military heavily influenced.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
But thank you guys for participating in this. Did anybody share theirs? I want to see.
Yeah, a few people.
Transmetropolitan
I
from
saw
Jan Trudeau. Yeah.
That is a good one.
Big shout out. Love that one.
Dan with his 5. Fables, Sandman, Transmet, Why the Last Man, Scalped.
Scalped is
Scalped,
it.
I
I
love it.
really need to read Scalped.
Jason.
I have never read that one either.
Oof. Powerful. Powerful.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Everyone giving a lot of love to the Sandman stuff.
If you haven't, nominate a book. Those threads are still up. So nominate a book. Gavin says Mitch is from a military
Okay.
family.
Yeah, I could see it. There's definitely he has an eye for it.
Yeah, please do get your noms in on the Discord server, which you should all join. The YouTube channel, there's a post under the post tab. Patreon for free. Just get out and nominate. Also, I want to say, and I should have said this earlier, but fuck me, there's still 95 of you here, so I'll say it. Next week is the Pallies. A lot of you are newer to the channel, so you might not know what the Pallies are. The Pallies is our annual award show, the official award show of the comic book industry. Eisner's, you can forget all that. Forget all that. It's
Come
all
on,
about the
talk
Pallies.
that.
Who is
Talk
Eisner?
it.
I don't know who
That's what I'm
Eisner
talking
is.
about.
Yeah, man. We're going to tell you who the best writer of the year is, who the best artist of the year is, what the best comic book of the year is, who the best publisher of the year is.
Let's go.
As if that's even a question. We're
That's
going to get into all of those things. There's going to be audience participation. It's going to be a blast. This is the best show that we do every year. So make sure you show up. We're going to blow the roof off of things to close out 2025. I want everybody there. Everybody.
Patrick Zay says, so excited for this. This is my Oscars, Grammys, Emmys.
Let's go.
Yes.
combined.
Yes.
Not as Tony's though. Patrick's a big Broadway guy.
Yeah, not the Tonys. Wow says, what are the Pallies? It's our award show, and I hope you show up, Winnie. I hope you're there. It's going to be fun. We always have fun on the Pallies. So next Saturday, 10:15 a.m. Eastern, wear your Saturday best, which for some of us means being nude. That means none of us here can be nude because YouTube will cut this shit off. But if you're only hearing us, you can wear your skivvies. You could come to us as you were born. However you show up and show out for the pals on the Pallies.
Yeah, you heard
Let's
that.
go.
Sean said, show up covered in amniotic fluid.
Yes.
Ooh. Oh no.
It's very specific.
He said,
Very specific.
right when you were born. Yeah.
Catherine says, I'll accept my nom for best writer for my Hail Marco Meet Cute. Thank you, dearly pals. Yes, that's right. Debuted scriptwriter there.
Order of
I'll tell you
Village.
right now, 2026 is my year for the Pallies. Okay. I'm calling it right
Let's
now.
go.
2026 is my year for the Pallies.
Let's
go.
go.
Yes.
Absolutely. I would love.
I promise you, the stuff that I got on deck for you guys. Yes.
Pumped.
Please bring it. Order of Dylan wants to know, will everybody be in suits? I can tell you who won't be. Moi. I've never worn a suit in my life.
I could probably.
I don't know if my gut will help me.
Or we should be sitting.
Yeah. I'll figure something out.
Hayden's Hideout with a 5 spot. Thank you, buddy. Please tell me there is a most sus moment category.
You know what, Hayden? You can make that one.
Yeah.
So I want to tell you guys this. I might as well, because there's going to be what I'm cooking up is audience only Pally Awards that y'all are going to vote on.
Oh.
Okay. And you can write in, because we can do this through YouTube in the post tab. I want you to write in
Oh yeah.
for things like sus moment of the year,
Put in your
biggest pause.
pause moment of the year, guest of the year, all of that. We're going to get into it. It's going to be fun. Trust and believe. We're going to have a great time. Ted H with the 10 spot. Thank you, Ted. Hydration time. Growing up, I pirated almost everything. So once my salary reached a decent level, I completely overcompensated, but I guess that internalized guilt may never really go away. I love that point. And I think we underestimate sometimes how motivated the average person is by guilt. So like you do a bad thing, and then you're like, oh God, and it really sticks with you. And then when you can make it right, you make it right.
I still use crosswalks.
Oh shit. Jay Sage wants to know who the snow bunny of the year is.
Okay, well that is a charged category.
Wow.
Richard said, wow. He had to throw 2 wows on it.
Well, I think it's time for me to leave the show now. I'm gonna have to
Listen, I'm not saying nothing, and that's not going to be a category, but I did see Sinners this year, and Haley Steinfeld had me in a chokehold.
I thought we were talking comics. Jeez.
Oh, we're about to.
Big shout out to Haley. She was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
You're right.
She's lovely in person too.
Wait, you better?
Yeah, he moderates these things, Sean.
Yo, what was it like to breathe the same air as her?
Rarefied air, that Bendis rarefied air.
I feel like I need to start an OnlyFans just to describe this to you, Sean. Like this, I feel like I should be paid for this kind of a description.
I'm pirating it. I need to know. Oh my God.
She was wonderful. She was the closeout panel for Fan Expo Canada, and it was amazing. Absolutely amazing. She was super sweet, very humble. Of course, I'm a Buffalo Bills guy, so that just kind of put me on the ends with her even more so. So yeah.
Victor, oh man, you lost me finally.
It happens, bro. It's from the 90s. It's from the 90s.
No, it's just Buffalo is persona non grata on the show. Come on.
For some of us.
We're talking like early 90s fandom, and I'm from Ohio, right? So I could have picked the Browns, I could have picked the Bengals. It's Buffalo that's been my thing. So it's a legit fandom for me. Like it's not even like suddenly, since like 93, 94 is Yeah, since like John Madden football, like
So-
that's
We got a couple comments here in the chat saying, "No, Sean, not that Shamik Moore attitude. Sean, don't be Shamik."
You know,
I
you
can't
guys are
live in
coming
that.
for my ass, dude.
Yeah, you
I'm
can't be. You
moderating
can't
for
be the.
Sheik too, so I can't be co-signing on those things.
But I do have to ask you a question, and I may regret this, but I have to.
Oh God.
Does she look like all of that?
Does she look like all of
Did she look like all of that when you saw her? Did she look?
chips
I
T-shirt
regret you asking
with
this.
the hat and a
Yeah.
coat to go with it? Yeah,
She looked
Haley's
like all
bad.
of that. Thank you.
Haley's listen. If you gonna be strung out, she's the one. She's the one.
Couldn't be
If you were gonna be a vampire, okay, who is dedicated to spend the rest of your life with one person, and it was her, I get it. I get
Oh
it.
yeah.
If you were gonna get turned into a vampire who could no longer look at the glory of the day sky, and she's the one that was gonna turn you, I get it.
I
Get
get it. I wouldn't blame you.
You
know
laid it
what?
down.
I got nothing but neck. I got nothing but neck.
You
I
laid
get
it down.
I get it. I get it. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right when Sean was gonna start talking about comics, he had a segue ready.
All right, fine.
She's actually my profile pic on Facebook right now.
What? Hold on, let me see that.
Yeah.
Damn,
I'm
he
pulling the
went.
ripcord. I'm pulling the
Let's pull
ripcord.
that.
I'm pulling
It's
the
me and
ripcord.
her on stage is my Facebook profile pic. Right now.
All right, I'll stop. So real quick, we've got an announcement from Marvel. It didn't really come through or that I saw any website. Like no one got this exclusive. They dropped it on Twitter, from what I know.
Marvel's website dropped it officially. Yeah.
Okay. But it is an announcement of a new Sentry series, not some random fuck ass
Solaris.
Marvel pedestrian person who's becoming the Sentry.
Mhm.
No, we are talking about Robert Reynolds. Bob.
Hell yeah.
Motherfucking Bob.
That's right. That's right.
4-issue limited series from Paul Jenkins.
Co-creator himself, baby.
Yes, the man. Paul Jenkins, who co-created the Sentry. Christian Rosado's going to do the art. It will be dropping this March. The Sentry is back. So is the Void. Sentry's got to step up and be the golden hero of good once again.
Love it.
I'm hyped
Oh,
for this. I'm hyped for this
Did
so
you-
much. Yeah.
Did you guys peep the James Gunn drop about an hour ago?
No.
What?
Big shout out to my man Bill, co-host of Into the Chatterverse podcast that I do right here on YouTube. Please check us out. Lars Eidinger, I think that's how you say his last name. Lars Eidinger will be Brainiac in Man of Tomorrow.
Oh.
This is from
Oh,
James
shit.
Gunn himself an hour ago on Twitter.
Okay.
Oh,
Wow.
interesting.
So we've got casting for Brainiac. Good to know.
Mhm.
Who is
Mhm.
this guy?
Yeah, I don't know him off top. I'm looking at this picture. I'm like, I don't know him.
No,
But
he
I'm
looks familiar
interested.
to me.
I'm interested.
As long as he looks creepy, I'm good.
He's got creep. He's got good creep factor.
He's got good
It's
creep.
there. It's there.
Good.
I think it's the picture.
It's the hair.
It is kind of the hair.
Yeah,
it is
his
kind of
hair
the
looks like he's about to front Arcade Fire.
Yes, and
I am very excited for this. I love the Sentry. He's one of my favorite Marvel characters. Paul Jenkins being back to tell a
Come on.
story with the Sentry is super exciting.
super good.
The character now has a much larger profile as a result of
Yeah.
Thunderbolts. Something that Tyler and I have been saying for a while is, why can't we get Bob back? Like, what is the hesitation? So now we're finally getting him. I can't wait to see what Paul has in store.
It's awesome.
Yeah, Sentry, the stuff like Sentry and Dark Avengers with like Diodato on art was just insane. Yeah.
The familiar, now that I have that familiarity, now that there's this feels more meaningful, especially after the book clubs we've done, especially now that the movie's out. I think this is a good way to kind of have something to offer, to have something on the table from Marvel from a comic standpoint. So awesome. Here for it.
Totally. Now let's get into the DC solicits. We're not going to go through absolutely everything. Obviously, a lot of this stuff, like we already all know about Superman, Spider-Man. We don't need to talk about that. These are the March 2026 solicits, and I thought there were some really interesting drops. So, if I am skipping over something, Tyler or Marco, that you want to talk about, please stop me. But I'm just going to kind of guide us through what I thought was compelling and take it from there.
Okay.
So next level is the new era that DC is entering with the conclusion of DCKO. Next level is an extension of what we've been getting with All In. So it's not a big overhaul. It's more of new number ones, new storylines, new concepts, a furthering of what we've been getting, which is very exciting. I want to start with Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman with issue 31 is going to be beginning the Wonder War arc. Daniel Sampere is still a part of the creative team, Tom King on the writing, and it's a future story. It's like a not necessarily apocalyptic, but definitely Justice League is dead, villains rule, and we're getting the matriarch stepping into herself as the big bad of this run. I don't know, Tyler, if you have this up, but that cover with the matriarch on it,
dude,
is my number one most needed cover of 2026 right now. I need it bad.
That's Mateo de Ulis too, I believe.
Oh, yes, it is.
Yeah. I do have it up. Yeah, I do have the cover up. And yeah, no, I think Matriarch, she's kind of made a little hint of an appearance here and there, like she's debuted in the comic.
Yep.
But it is very interesting. She's gonna be pretty important. Cool ass design though.
Rad. Hell yeah.
Rad and bad.
Does this feel like a jumping on point for you guys to come back into the series? I know we've been not necessarily following, but does this elicit enough excitement?
I'm still reading it. I'm up to date.
Yeah.
So this is just continuation for me.
Victor, I don't know if you have the ability to pull up the stream, but I want to make sure you can see what we're reacting to as well.
Or send him the link that you put in the show notes, Sean.
Yes, I will do that.
I guess I'm in the chat right here. I got it.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Yeah, the matriarch is amazing looking. I'm excited for this. So I'm actually going to give Wonder Woman yet another chance, a third chance, because I am going to buy at least issue 31. I have to have that cover.
What if it's like one of those like more expensive ones?
Oh, I'm buying it.
All right. Heard it here first, guys.
He said he's getting it.
I'm going to have that cover. I have to have it.
Yeah, she does look amazing.
Hell yeah, dude. And we're getting out the Mouseman era. Order of Dylan says Mouseman knows a baddie when he sees one. Let's go. Let's go. And by the way, I just want to make sure we all know that all types of baddies can be appreciated on this channel. I'm talking about the men, the women, the theys, the thems. Everybody is included. There is no discrimination on that front. We've talked about Nightwing. His ass ain't for me, but for who it is for, I co-sign that.
Nothing but Nightwing.
They got that slice of cake.
The Joker is making his return in the pages of Batman. Matt Fraction and Jorge Jimenez are going to be getting into some big stuff with the Joker in their next arc. I'm a little surprised they're going into the Joker, but from AIPTcomics.com, we know that this oversized issue, Batman number 7, features a striking interior gatefold that plunges readers into the clown prince of crime's fractured psyche, reframing his relationship with Batman for DC's mainline continuity.
I was going to say, I'm tired of delving into the fractured psyche of the Joker. That's such a like that. I feel like I've heard that phrase so often. Maybe it's just standard copy now.
Kind of. We'll say maybe it's in juxtaposition to Absolute Batman and what they're doing with that Joker.
Yeah.
Making sure that there is mainline.
That's
like
valid.
really delineate it. I guess that makes sense, like in terms of the timing, because for me, this feels early for Joker. We're just getting into the groove of things. Like I get it, he's his big bad, but yeah, I would have preferred we kind of kept on the train that we currently are. Like we just got met with the Minotaur. Like, can we sit on that for a second? Presumably it's still all happening in the background, but I'd rather keep the focus, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to this just because Matt Fraction's doing a great job, and so is Jimenez. I don't really care what they choose to do within the book because it all has worked so far, so I just trust them. But the other critical thing we've learned is that Pamela Isley, aka Poison Ivy, is Gotham's new mayor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whoa,
Yeah.
damn! I need to catch up to that.
It's gotten a little fucking bonkers right now. This is also even more bonkers. I don't even know how we even get there from where we are currently.
I was about to ask, yeah, because you're reading it.
I am. I don't know how we got there yet.
Okay.
Yeah, that's probably something that's going to materialize in the pages of this, the pages of Poison Ivy's book when Next Level begins, because there's some covers from Poison Ivy that showcase her as the mayor.
Yeah.
They look amazing. Great covers. Um, let's move into the Superman space. Superman is going to be absent
Mm-hmm.
from the pages of Superman proper because of whatever happens at the end of DCKO. Joshua Williamson said it's going to be impossible for us to keep at bay what happens that Superman isn't going to be around. So they spoiled it right here in the sense that Superboy Prime is taking over Superman proper with issue 36. So he will
Whoa.
be that book's Superman.
Yeah.
Yo,
Crazy.
actually,
That's
hold
crazy.
on.
Yeah, it's
That's
crazy.
that's cool, dude.
Yeah.
I've been converted to a fan purely through the Joshua Williamson stuff. I had little to no experience otherwise. I get it, and this now being a thing, the way they're gonna play into the continuity of it all, the way that, like he's gonna play into like breaking fourth wall, like yo, I finally did it. I'm the man on the cover, and of course there's a an actual variant with him on the cover.
Oh, him reading a book of himself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
There's also one of him reading Absolute Superman, which is hilarious.
yeah.
I skipped over something important. Nightwing is getting a new artist. Dexter Soy
Mm.
left the book, but Dennis Cowan
Woo-hoo!
is joining the book.
Love
Nice.
Dennis.
Yeah, that's
He's a great
huge.
dude. He's a great dude.
And Dan Waters was saying that he kind of wants this arc or this story to be Nightwing's Born Again, I think is what I read.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Huh.
So
That's bold.
I mean, I'm into it. I think it's a really great run so far. And Dennis Cowan is a distinctly different visual style.
Very much so. Very much so.
But I'm all in for it.
Have we ever had a black artist on Nightwing?
Oof, that I don't know.
I don't think we have.
The only reason I would say that we probably have is I feel like DC would have said that this was the first black artist in Nightwing. That feels like easy points for them.
Only because it's coming out in March and not February. Do I think that that's an overlooked statement? If it was coming out in February, yes, I think they would absolutely say that. But yeah, something like Brian Stelfreeze hasn't done a run of Nightwing.
Oh, I see. It looks like Jamal Igle
Oh, he did do some stuff.
Okay.
in the mid 2000s.
Gotcha.
Sorry, according to ChatGPT. Sorry.
Well, okay, so I don't
Hey,
believe
Sorry.
them. I don't believe them.
Necessary to know. Necessary to know.
And Gavin, we see you in the chat. We're gonna get to you.
Oh yeah.
We are gonna get to you. Don't even think we're not. We're gonna get to you. Green Lantern is issue 33, but also 600. So a huge milestone issue. Jeremy Adams, of course, Zermanico, of course, but also Ron Mars making his return to tell stories in this. This is the time where I really wish Jeff Johns could have done something to contribute to this. I understand why he can't and won't, but it would have been cool if he could have.
Before we get to the next one, presuming it's a Flash thing, I did also just want to quickly shout out the numbers we're seeing for some of these titles. Catwoman's on number 85 at the moment. Harley Quinn's at number 60. Poison Ivy's at number 42. These are books with staying power, leading women on the titles. So huge shout out, because I feel like in this day and age of reboots, of relaunches, you don't get to see these numbers anymore organically like this. Obviously, you have your legacy stuff, but yeah, just huge shout out to the creators, creative teams, and for the people who are picking it up too.
Love it.
That's a great point. And those are, by the way, to further that point, those are books that lasted through different initiatives at DC. So they could have very easily relaunched any one of them, and they just didn't. So I love that. $5 from Common Sense, who says Superboy Prime and Mr. Thunderbolt from Humphrey's Dial H for Hero need to meet. Also, can't be Reign of Superboy without Chris Kent from Pre-New 52.
I think that Chris Kent is in Reign of Superboys. There's this one character that looks like a super Nightwing in his design. In fact, there is a Bruno Redondo variant to it, which seems to be even more on the nose with the idea of it being a Nightwing. And I think that's Chris Kent.
I love it.
Aaron Ruiz says, Pal so into DC, they're doing solicitation reviews. Crazy.
We have not done this in a long time.
Yeah.
There's some big shit in here that, it's just like, I don't want to talk about them all separately. Like this, for example, Aquaman 15 the name is being changed. This is the kind of shit I miss at Big Two Comics. Now the book will be called Emperor Aquaman.
Oh,
which is such a cool name. And so AIPT writes, it will send Arthur Curry on a star-spanning conquest armed with Omega energy against the Crimson Queen. The cover showcases him riding on something that looks like a Starro. I don't know if
totally
it
a star.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely is.
So this is super cool. I've been saying I thought Aquaman should win the KO tournament. I don't think they would spoil the winner in these solicits, so I'm imagining he didn't win, but still getting a power upgrade that he deserves. I love this for Aquaman.
Damn.
Now,
this might convince me to get back on it.
Dude, the fight issue didn't convince you?
It was good. That's what I'm saying. Like
just read it.
this is building him up.
Marco, shut up and read the damn book.
It's good. It really is. Well, I mean, everybody has different tastes, but now this next one is something that I think at least Marco, Tyler, and I are very, very happy to be able to say. Finally be able to talk about. Flash 31, brand new creative team, Ryan North, and our boy, our man, the man, Gavin motherfucking Guidry. Let's go!
Hell yeah.
Redesigning that Flash costume. Get that old bullshit out of here. We got a hot Flash costume. Wally West back. Ryan North going to do some crazy mind-bending shit. I can only imagine how great this series is going to be.
Can I tell you how absolutely devastated and pissed off I was when I first saw this?
Why?
I was writing a project that I wanted to pitch to Gavin. I'm like, after meeting him, it was great. I was like, yo, I'm gonna pitch this thing. And I saw that, I was like,
well,
nope. My man is busy.
Gavin is booked and busy with DC through 2026. So you're gonna have to slide in his DMs and book him for 2027 and a half.
Like I'm having 2028 at this point.
Yep.
Just to see if I got a shot. Because I was like, man, I was looking at Gavin's work. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna write this story. It's gonna be great. This comes out and I'm like, never mind. And with Ryan, I love Ryan's work on Fantastic Four. So what they are gonna do,
there's gonna be some form of science type shit in this.
I'm over here throwing cards at him like, please, just take it. Take the money. I want to give it to you.
We need the pals, our community. We need to really rally behind this book. Gavin is one of us. We're going to support the fuck out of this
don't
book.
pirate it, contrary to what we just talked about.
Don't pirate this one. Go out and cop that. I want to see, I hope these aren't all the covers. I like cover A, but I want to see some more covers because I want to buy more than one.
Yeah.
There's
yeah.
there's Brian Boland one. There's that what is this? Ooh, I don't know who the artist is in this one. Something Perel, it looks like.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out through the metadata, but
You just
Beautiful.
plug it into your backside there. Metadata.
Cole says, Gavin, are you selling the original art of this Flash cover?
oh,
You're stepping into territory, Cole.
Whoa,
This is
okay.
good questions. Big questions. Big questions.
Absolutely. Big changes to the Justice League. As Superman is absent, there need to be new members. DC or the Justice League is going to have to seek outside of their standard crew to recruit some newbies. And this cover suggests that there is a lot of changes happening to the roster. So Lex Luthor is on the cover, Cheetah, King Shark, Starro, Lobo,
Your favorite.
yeah, and Harley Quinn are all the atypical people on this cover. How do you guys feel about this?
You know how I feel about this, Sean.
You love it.
I love this shit. I love shit like this. I love
Yeah.
like put the bad guys on like your superhero team, make them good. Remember when Captain Cold was on the Justice League for a bit?
Yes,
it was
yes.
post New 52. I love that. The show was good because it made him recognize being good is worth it. And I love a redemptive story here. I'm not saying King Shark needs to be redeemed. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. How do you even play with that? I don't know. But I think someone
King
would
Shark
like,
is a shark.
yeah. I think like someone like Harley could be fun. Even Cheetah, I think, could be a redeemable character, especially with her relationship with Diana. Especially after what happens in Cheetah and Cheshire. Great book, by the way. So I think there's some ones here that could work.
It's giving Justice League Unlimited vibes, like in a
Yeah.
big bad way.
Yeah.
And I mean that from the show standpoint, not even just the comic, but I'm here for it. Excuse me.
I don't love it. I love a more traditional roster. I'm just that guy. I'm that lame basic bitch. But that's what I want.
What are
And
you missing?
well, it's more so what's there.
Okay.
Like I don't want Lex, King Shark, Harley. Harley's fine. Cheetah, Star. I don't want them on the Justice League. But that's just my preference. I'll be buying this anyway.
I do like the idea that Superman's gone. All right. How do we replace Superman? I don't know. Harley Quinn. That is not a 1-to-1.
a lot the big guns, dude. I'm getting this Vixen variant. I'll tell you what.
I'll tell you what.
I'll tell you what.
Who did that? Do you know?
I can only see the last name. Lyrics.
Yeah, I wish these were better. Well,
I mean, at least they're doing some form of.
yeah.
Yeah, I got to credit AIPT for that.
And there's this about Bruno Redondo that looks so goofy, a Blue Beetle, but the blue and gold.
Oh yeah. There's some good covers here
Yeah.
for all these books. My favorite announcement, other than the Flash, but I already knew about that, so I'm not counting that. My favorite announcement that surprised me, and this will surprise all of you, is the new Titans, actually.
Same,
Oh.
actually. Yeah, I was really surprised about this.
So it's Tate Bromble, who is one of the bells of the ball right now.
Yep.
Torrin Clark, or on the cover, Sammy Basri on the art.
Or
And here's-
fresh off Birds of Prey.
Right.
Yep.
Yes. And by the way, Women's History Month variant by Lyrics. I'm wondering if that. Well, Lyrics is the person that did the Vixen cover. Marvel,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, here's the pitch. After helping save the world from yet another world-ending event, the Titans have earned some much-deserved rest. Back in Titans Tower, they're glad to be reunited again, but it almost feels too good to be true. Are these Titans who they claim to be? And if they can't trust each other, can they even trust themselves? Tate Bromble and Sammy Basri kick off a brand new era for the next generation of superheroes. I love that it's called New Titans.
Mm-hmm.
I think I read that it was going to feature some new characters being introduced to the team, which I'm really happy about, freshen things up. I want to read the Titans. I really do. This might be my way in.
Tate has a great voice for younger characters.
Yes.
You know, Tate's working on Batgirl currently, which is one of my favorite books. It's still phenomenal. And the characters that are on this. Also, Sean, you know you're with me on this. Silhouetted characters,
Yes.
love it.
Yes.
Remember Heroic Age?
Oh, New Avengers #1, bro.
Yeah.
All those kind of covers are it
All
for me.
solicited. But I mean, these solicits have emblems on them, so you can tell it's Superboy. Looks like it's joining the team. John Kent looks like Spoiler as well. Tara and Marco Yara Flor.
I
is
know. I saw this in the Discord.
Wonder Girl.
I popped for this, dude. I'm very excited.
What?
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
Yada Floor?
Yeah, she's got the
Supposedly.
pointy tiara.
Yo.
Yeah, that's dope.
I see
Okay.
people mad that like, oh, this is F5G's Trinity, but where's Jace?
Oh, sure.
I
Yeah.
mean, listen, black people are always left out. We know that.
This
Wow.
this Ethan Young variant with Cyborg on it looks rad.
I do like that one too.
That
Yeah.
is dope.
So, did I miss? Did you guys feel I missed anything? Is there anything?
Yeah, the next level, we got some announcements there officially. Specifically, Deathstroke was news.
Oh, yes. Thank you. So Deathstroke has a bunch of these books have creative teams. So where? Yeah.
It's a different.
Okay,
They linked it in a separate article.
Yeah, I got it. So Deathstroke is going to be Scotty Young, which I think we knew.
No,
No,
that's
Lobo.
Lobo.
Why am I? Yeah, Lobo. Jesus Christ. Sorry. So Lobo is going to be Scotty Young. I think we knew that.
Yeah.
George Corona on the art. That's going to be coming out March 4th. So if you like Lobo,
I like that
Um,
team.
yeah.
Good team. Yeah.
That's really all you need.
Batwoman. This is we've known about this, but it's officially being solicited. Super exciting. Greg Rucka and Danny.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm so excited for this one.
it's cool seeing colors on that finally.
Yeah. Oh, true. It was black and white when we saw
It
it
was,
at
yeah.
Comic-Con. Yeah.
Sick. And then Deathstroke, the Terminator. This is coming from Tony Fleeks with Carmine Di Giandomenico on the art. So really strong creative teams for all these books.
Yeah, these are
Tony-
awesome.
Tony Fleeks is a good choice. I think big on the come up. Has and now getting like these bigger chances. That I think has a cool voice, and for violence in particular, feral, stray
Feral.
dogs. Like, yeah, this is exciting. This is cool for me solely for Fleeks.
This is great.
Yeah.
So
I
far, so
like
good.
Deathstroke comics. They're traditionally hit for me. Even the Liefeld one is rad as hell.
Okay. So DC's in a good spot. March is looking great. Beautiful. One last meaty topic. We can't go full bore because it is almost 3 hours deep. I want to respect everybody's time. You guys are not free yet. Actually, we should spin the wheel.
Yeah, let's spin the wheel.
Yeah. The Emancipating Poet says, "Who's getting the notifications?" I hope y'all are getting the notifications. I hope so.
It's highlight a book again.
Hey, there you go.
There we go.
Go for it, Tyler.
Mine is a weird one. It's not a comic book, but it's comic book adjacent. But we were talking about art and what is art and all that. This is an art book called You and Me.
Cool.
It is Spider-Man and Mary Jane. It is a collection of art pieces that were on display at the Market Gallery. It just the art exhibit just closed in New York City. It was November 13th to, I believe, Thursday. It just ended. It is a series of art, and this is the tamest one that I can show you because all of it otherwise is just Spider-Man getting a blowjob.
Oh, I've heard of this.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've totally heard of this.
And it's by Rachel Simon, who
Yes.
is an artist who decided, what would be really cool? Spider-Man getting head. And she just drew a lot of it to the point where it became a whole art gallery for it. And it's kind of a play on like what is art, what is a copyright, what is all of that. And I think it's really, I think I can, Sean, if there's nothing explicitly shown in terms of body parts, can I show it?
Yeah, if there's
Okay. There's no nudity, but like
it's implied.
this is hold on,
Ooh,
ring light. Oh, I'm turning the ring light off. Like it's a lot of stuff like this. Hold on.
Got some of that blur off too, dude.
Yeah. Okay.
Ay,
Give me
ay,
a
ay.
second. Give
Okay.
me a
Wow,
second.
that is crazy.
I think it's really good. It's really fun. You could check out Market Street Gallery on Instagram, or the artist is Rachel. Let me get her, Rachel.Anna.Simon. And I just think it's really good. Some of them are weird. There's one where Spider-Man's just shooting web, if you catch my drift. And it continues up the page into another piece of art where like Mary Jane is encased in web. I don't know.
Strip, baby. That's what it is.
Oh, and Spider-Man is also fully in costume in every time. And it's fun. I like stuff like this. I like people saying fuck copyright and just doing their own take on art.
Pirates.
I just put a link about apparently an interview on exactly this.
Yeah.
It's titled "Why Rachel Anna Simon Can't Stop Painting Spider-Man Getting Head" by Emily Sandstrom. So,
Fuck.
These are really good questions.
thought provoking.
Honestly, it's gonna be at my desk. I'm just gonna be just perusing it, like, oh yeah, huh. Okay, huh.
That's magic.
He's always like on the edge of a couch, or like. There's like, but like it's weird. Like some of them will be colored pencils, some of them will just be like pen and paper. But like the ones at the gallery, like some of them are full on painted oil paintings. So it's using different mediums too, and different materials to make it.
Remarkable.
Yeah, welcome guys. Really bet you're happy you pay for that wheel scroll spin.
Well, speaking of stolen material,
Uh-oh.
talk about generative AI. Now, here's a book you may not have heard of. Ultimate Oz Universe, The Lost Lands. This is an AWA book with, it's written by Cullen Bunn and Larry King.
He's back?
Not that one.
Oh.
I wish it was that one.
Not that one.
With art by someone I deeply love, Mike Deodato Jr. Now, Sean Northridge, who is an artist in his own right, took Mike Deodato to task on social media and pointed out that many of the pages, according to him and his opinion, were generated by AI. He claims that, quote, AWA Studios really pocketed $100K in Kickstarter money and ran with this. This was a Kickstarter book that was funded. You can see the pages for yourselves. And Tyler, I hope you have them up.
I have them all up, yeah.
Thank you. I really want you guys to decide for yourselves what it is that you're looking at here. And I also want to say this before we open the floor. AWA and Mike Deodato have been clear that, according to them, there was no generative AI used in the process of the creation of the art in this book. Mike Deodato said this to The Beat firmly, comicsbeat.com. There is no AI-generated art used in Ultimate Oz Universe. The artwork is entirely generated by human artists using standard professional digital tools in the same way comics have been made digitally for years. I've been drawing comics professionally for decades, and this project is no exception. It's all handcrafted work, guided by experience, storytelling, and artistic intent. AWA made their own statement. They basically regurgitate the same thing. I don't feel the need to read it. They are very firm and clear that this is not generative AI. Can we look at these pages and talk about what we're seeing here?
We're seeing the most generative AI pages.
The first page is, I mean, and again, Mike Deodato is an artist who's been in this industry for decades, knows way more than I will ever know. Look at the first page. You've got a very tall woman speaking to a very short individual. She is not looking at him.
No.
He appears like he might be riding a horse. There's a horse-like thing by him.
What that's supposed to be?
I don't fully know.
Yeah, I couldn't quite figure that one out either.
I thought that's what my mind interpreted it as, but I could be wrong.
Oh yeah, no, it's supposed to be.
And so, but it's clearly wrong. Like that looks to me like what would happen if you use generative AI, it came out improperly and nobody fixed it. That's what it looks like to me. The next page.
This is the most egregious one to me.
It's two different panels, and what you see on the panels is almost completely different between panels. One of them has what appears, it's like the Tin Man from Oz, and he looks one way. His back is sort of slimmer. The details of the back are very different than the next panel. His woodcutter or whatever tool has shifted arms. The people behind him look completely different. The sky is completely different. The ground is completely different.
It is clearly AI and just how inconsistent it is. It's so inconsistent, it can't be human in how inconsistent it is.
What if? No, I can't.
You tried. You tried.
I was gonna try to write that story.
What attempt was made?
What if it's two different inkers and he just
Oh
did
boy,
really loose drawings and didn't like tighten it up?
It's a couple of
they
different
just kinda-
artists, writers, and artisans they needed for this.
Yeah.
That was actually my defense of this. Not that I'm here to defend it, but that was my logical, in my mind, defense of like.
Right.
As a Diodato fan, my instinct was, oh, I got to figure out how they're wrong on this.
My thought was multiple artists did this.
Right.
And they didn't do it. They did it from the same script, but there was no initial frame of reference. So when they turned in the pages, they turned in different shit.
Right.
I feel like I'm rationalizing like crazy to get to that place.
That's cope. Yeah.
Now, okay, going into it though, here's the thing. Stylistically, it does still read like Mike Diodato Jr. Right?
Yeah.
Right? Like if you said like this was AI that was based off of his imagery, you go, okay, I can see where you got that from. Like 1,000,000%. If he's the one who did it, does that discount him? If he did it based on his own art, process, stylings, whatever.
So like a prompt, like in the style of myself.
Yes.
Yes.
Why?
Because he's lying about it.
I mean, that part I will give you. If you did it, say you did it. Like, stop. Don't, because that's
and
that's a shame of.
B, there is no model unless it's one that he owns and does himself that will then only take stuff from him.
Fair.
In the style of doesn't just take stuff from Mike Diodato.
Unless it's trained specifically on it, right? Like
AWA does not have the AI to train this. That's a big if.
Oh well, they partner, and this is they partner with Futurific, which is a separate company which has dabbled specifically in AI stuff. I've been reading the Polis, what is it? Oh my god, the
stuff with like Aggie and stuff, right?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
The
near future,
happy future stuff. Yeah.
Right. So like they have partnered specifically with AI companies to imagine what these the future of art looks like, the future of these kind of environments. So like trained on only the subjective art of the individuals that participate in them. So at worst case, maybe there's a defense there.
I don't even think that's a defense, because you can't say like Gavin's getting to my point here. He's saying that you can't say it's drawn by you. Even if you do have this magical Mike Diodato AI trained model that only uses Mike Diodato, then it was generated by you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the wording you have to use, because otherwise it's lying. This wasn't drawn.
That's a very slippery slope space right there.
I don't think it is.
Okay, so when it comes to colorists that are using digital coloring filters, does that change that it was colored by them?
No, it's digitally colored by them.
But we don't specify digital color. We just say color.
When
Like
I'm
in
talking
comics,
about
it just says colors.
when I'm talking about the book, I specify it.
That would be you, but that's not what the industry does. It doesn't specify that part. It just says colorist. And so if you are an artist and you did generate this and it's based off of you, if your process title is illustrator, I don't see you changing it.
So I have a problem with, as a lover of Mike Deodato, I have a problem with the idea that this is not a representation of what he does. This looks bad for Mike Deodato.
Yeah.
And it looks bad. I don't know if he's stressed out. I don't know what his life is like. Any artist can produce something that looks bad subjectively.
Mm-hmm.
But this looks fake. It looks inauthentic. And that authenticity in my mind as a reader, as a lover of art, can only come from a human. These errors are disgusting. And I would have felt duped if I bought this and got this. If I bought this book to support him and I got this, I would feel duped. And this is a big part of the problem with AI now today, is that it will generate stuff like this. And then this gets pushed out as like, hey, here's content. And yeah, it's content, but it ain't art to me. That's not what art is. Art requires humanity.
Deodato's 62. I just looked it up. He's 62, so he's like an older dude, but he's not old, you know? I do wonder if it's one of those things where AWA comes up to a well-known artist saying, hey, can we use your name? Here's this machine that we can do to create art that looks like yours. All you got to say is, hey, I did this stuff. This is by you. And you get this Kickstarter money that we can give you a huge chunk of. And there's no real work that you need to do. You might want to add some finishes to it or something. But we can make the process so much easier for you. And look at this money.
Oh, I got the. I was gonna buy the book, but it's $21.
Yeah.
So
look at this money.
Yeah, I'm looking at through alternative sources right now, and there are other panels at the moment that just haven't even been called out here, that I'm kind of seeing. But there's this consistent switching that's happening. So this thing in context here, these two panels that are apart, just that first image, that happens previously. They seem to be in each subsequent panel swapping to the one with the two pointed things on the top of the head, and then the one with the straight.
There's no consistency in character design.
No. But what I'm saying is that is a consistent feature that is currently happening in the book on a separate panel as well. Each iteration of each subsequent panel switches back between one or two of these, almost as a motif.
You're saying the inconsistency is consistent,
right? As if it were intentional, because the same thing is happening on a separate page where the two-pronged head guy, and then the next panel is the single head guy, and then the next panel is the two-pronged head guy, and then it's switching back and forth, to me dictating
like
a bit of
two
intention.
Different characters?
This looks like 4 different characters on my screen, though, what I'm seeing. It's inconsistent.
Yeah.
I struggle with the page that depicts the Emerald City.
Yeah.
There's 3 panels, and each one of them looks to me to be showcasing a different space. And again, like, this is, some of this stuff's open to interpretation, I guess, but when I look at that, I go, I don't feel like there's a visual consistency to these 3 panels that are on the same page. Even the sky is completely different on the 3 panels. I have a problem with that. And Ben Loudly makes a great point. Thank you for the 5 spot. It's weird that people who use AI in making their content can't even be bothered to proofread or review the final result. Is even that too much work? Like, if you would have told me, if you would have said, hey, listen, Mike Deodato did use AI on this. Then he went in and touched it up and made it look like Mike Deodato. I would still hate that. But at least I would be like, all right, well, at least he fucking tried a little bit. I feel like he didn't try at all. and I feel like I didn't buy this, so I'm not going to say I feel disrespected by it, but I would.
I would feel hoodwinked. Like it's just like in name only is this a Mike Diodato book.
And also, as a creator, right? As a creative person, how many decisions do you make in the process of creating a comic book that is essential to making that comic book what it is and unique to you? Nobody else can make The Trouble with Love, for example. Nobody else on the planet can make that story. Even you felt, Victor, that Luke Cage ripped off the Samaritan, but they're different. Like I'm not implying that couldn't have happened. I'm just saying they're different. Yours is yours. But when you take the Victor part and you push that to the back seat, and you take the generative AI part and you push that to the front seat, I think you lose everything that makes what you tried to get across just not art.
I'm not gonna co-sign that, only because you're right. It's not necessarily what I did, but that doesn't mean that what it would create isn't interesting, right?
I didn't say that.
Right. And I think that's part of the other thing too, that I think this complaint kind of belies as problematic is, again, what are we looking at here? Are we arguing the invalidation of art creation by this guy that clearly has a history in the business of being able to do, or was he given a wonderful payday by a corporation who was utilizing material that wasn't theirs, right? This is clearly it's odd. So this is open access. This is wide open for anybody to use. So the amount of effort to create something that is not going to be owned by Mike is still just feeding into what AWA gets. Why do I put forth that level of effort? Because my name is attached to it? I got paid for that. That's what I got paid for. And in fact, I arguably got paid better than I would otherwise.
Yeah, it made over $100,000 in terms of Kickstarter.
But and that's not even to say like he made like a significant portion of that. But when we're having the arguments of corporations specifically benefiting, profiting off of the creation of these materials and the artist not getting anything, is this not kind of like chickens coming home to roost? This is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You're going to get people who are very talented who are going to put forth minimal effort for maximum payout, because this is what happens when you have a corporation that does take money and it doesn't disseminate down. If I have the means to do this, tell me from a capitalist point of view why I should not do that.
Okay, so let me try and synthesize what you're trying to say here.
Mm-hmm.
That this is a decision, or this could be a decision from AWA, a company that is bankrolled by, looks like possibly AI companies or ones or tech companies, right, Marco?
Could be. Yeah.
But at least it is a for-profit company, so the objective is to make money. Where they decided, here's a shortcut, let's do it. Why don't we use a well-known creator? Why are we bagging on Diodato for getting his money?
His integrity.
It's an integrity thing.
Why? Does it dismiss what he's done before?
Because it's no, and I don't think it needs to. But it could say,
so why is it an integrity attack? Just because he said he didn't do it?
Well, if he lied, so right away.
That I'll give you. Like if that's the point of he said he didn't do it, I'll give you that. But like,
in using it
or
using it, either using it or being privy to the company using it, is saying I'm okay with stealing other people's art.
That I disagree.
That's what generative AI is, though. It steals.
No, I disagree with that.
It 100% is.
No. And the reason why I say this is very simple. There is an absolution that is given to creatives by saying that their art is stolen when they don't have to take responsibility for where they put it. And that's something that we have to stop doing. We have to start putting more responsibility on people and where they put their material for how it gets used.
So we should put the responsibility on the artist instead of the companies that actually deal with data?
Because otherwise all you're ever going to do is point at somebody else and say, well, you took this. But
then we only have zines going forward.
Do you put your social security number on the internet arbitrarily?
Arbitrarily, once I did. I had a whole bunch of issues with that. But
Right. But the idea is the reason why you don't do that is because the expectation is that someone on the internet could take it. Like, you know that. There has to be a sense of
But
responsibility.
that was integral to the inception of the internet. You know you're not supposed to do that.
And that's the problem right there. We have presented it as though in order to be a famous, well-known, well-regarded creative, you have to put your work on the internet. No, you don't.
But Victor,
you do not.
But Victor, hold on, because there are a lot of creators who don't have the ability to choose whether their art is disseminated digitally or not.
They already did, though. Like, that's the thing. Like, if you put your work on the internet, you already made that choice.
So is your thing like if you put yourself on the internet, it's your fault?
Hold on. I'm saying that if you work for DC Comics, like Gavin, he's in the chat.
Right.
Gavin Guidry is an artist who's paid by DC Comics.
Correct.
Gavin Guidry doesn't say, all right, now here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to flood the internet with images of my Flash book. DC has to solicit his books, so they put that out there. So are you saying that it is Gavin's fault for taking the DC contract that put his art on the internet to get used by generative AI tools?
Fault is a mean word, but yes, because you have to understand it. You have to. No, you have to, because here's the thing. If you don't do that, then what you are saying is that the distribution, dissemination of your work is not under your control. You have a choice. You have to accept and embrace it. You have a choice over who you work for, right? Gavin could very well decide, I don't want to work for DC because I know they do this. Does that have an impact? Absolutely. But does that eliminate choice? No. He absolutely has the choice therein of how that plays out. And if he doesn't want his work disseminated into this space that is going to do that, he has to make that choice.
Well, so if I give my doctor my medical information, right? And there is a breach at that medical facility where that medical information then gets leaked out everywhere with my personal information on it.
Yes.
It's my fault for putting it. It's victim blaming. It's victim blaming.
No, it's not victim blaming. No. It's the opposite of that. Because what the process is here that is the difference is what you're saying is that it is inherent that if you give your medical information to a doctor that they're going to put it on the internet, right? If it's in a paper file, which is how it used to be, there is no leak, right? Like, we know that. There is no leak. The only issue is that there's the risk of a fire happens and all your information is gone from that perspective. It is the idea that the way our technology is used and the process that we've made regular, as though that's the way it has to be. That is not true. It's not the way it always was. It's only been true for like the last 30 years that we've been using the internet in this way. So like all these things that we say are necessary for current use, that's not true. These are things that we've built, but they're not true.
But Victor,
but I think there's a level of like ought in this where it's because I put my thing on this, there ought to be safety. There ought to be a situation where I
is a wonderful place, yes, but there's no guarantees. And because we have the understanding, again, the reason why I use the Social Security thing is we know this from an early standpoint. You don't put certain information out on the internet because anybody can take it. If that is the case, why did we ever presume that something as precious and specific as identifying as our art would be different? Why would we do that? It's because we didn't think about it in the terms of value in that same way. We didn't think about it in terms of our identity. We used it as a means of marketing and promotion. We had a facet that we said, this justifies why I'm putting this information out here. I'm able to get jobs, I'm able to get this, I'm able to get that from this being in this space. Now here comes this thing that's using it in a way that we don't have control, and now we're mad at the things that are taking it. But we don't have that same impression if somehow, again, if I put my Social Security out there, yes, somebody stole it, they took it, but I definitely put it out there, and that part is my fault, and I have to address that.
I don't think you can compare a Social Security number to art.
Why not? This is who
one is
are.
meant to be seen.
But in terms of accessibility,
you are supposed to use this.
Like
that's what this is. This is an identifying factor of value. My Social Security is just as valuable to me to define who I am as what my artwork is. That's me.
But if somebody walks in your house and takes some shit from your house.
Did I leave my door unlocked? Did I leave my door open?
No, they broke into
That's not the same thing. That's not the same thing.
All right.
If I put something out
so if you left your door open and somebody came in and stole something, like, that's my bad.
Listen, how else do I take control over my situation?
I hear that. I totally hear that perspective of like you should have locked your fucking door. But the problem is, the big problem I have with this point is that the internet is not a genie you can put back in the bottle.
It's not.
And
that's
not.
So again, what you're talking about is a retrospective issue of responsibility that we did not consider so many years ago because it's not what we thought this was going to be. That's our fault. We didn't think that through.
But the we you're talking about is not all of us. I can't choose whether or not. No, I can't. I cannot choose whether generative AI exists.
No, it's not about whether or not it exists. Its existence,
but listen to me.
Is not incumbent on what this is, because what you're specifically saying now is that there is a specific.
You don't know what I'm saying because you won't let me talk.
No. I'm telling you specifically what you're saying, because what you're saying is that there is a specific boogeyman that is the problem, but the issue was always there. It's just that we now have a specific thing that we can point to that this is what's doing it, but the issue was always there. There was always something that could have taken that information that we put on the internet and used it for some other purpose because we put it on the internet. That's the truth. It's just because it's AI that we are having a specific thing where we're saying this isn't right. We always did it.
But Victor, how many times in the comic book industry have we had problems with somebody swiping somebody else's art? It's never been cool. With it?
Because again, in the context of everything that we do, we take our personal value of what it is that we've put out. That's how we're doing it. That's our issue. This is my art, therefore this is my value. That's the problem that we have set up. We've created this system where any implication of originality is the value structure. But like, again, if you look at authors, right? There are a lot of authors that write the same genre, they write the same stories. They're not arguing over originality as some sort of validation of their creativity. At best, they're like, let me produce more. Let me just produce more. You got Harlequin novels that do it. The reissuing of Wizard of Oz stories. How many different Wizard of Oz stories are there? A ton.
Not the same thing,
It's
brother.
not?
No, you know why? You know why? Because if I write a story and somebody hacks into my computer and steals my script and then goes off and does whatever and makes money with that, they stole my shit. And I'm mad.
That's not the same thing as what we're talking about.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah,
it's not the same thing. You just said in a closed system circuit, they hacked into my computer. Not that I put it out there.
Well, even if you put it out there, it's stealing.
Any level of theft is theft.
That's what I'm saying, though. The idea of it being taken is the part that everyone is harping on without taking any sort of responsibility that you put it in a space where it could be taken.
Okay. So say I put it.
It's the same.
Marco, let me tackle this one real quick because.
But just to further that point, it's the same. It's the same example that Victor gave earlier of if somebody takes and clips our videos and continues to and makes money off of it, it is not the fault of us for putting it up there necessarily, or for being upset at that individual because that's the human aspect of it. But it is also not a situation where that individual doesn't have access to it.
Well, it's also against YouTube's terms of service. So YouTube itself would actually like have issues with that.
But
again, that's the thing. Like YouTube has put into place aspects to say that people shouldn't do this and that they don't want to facilitate that. We put work out for years, decades at this point, without those safeguards because it wasn't something that we thought of. That part we have to take some responsibility for. And it's not good for us as creatives because we don't take any sort of responsibility of we put our stuff out in an unpreserved space. But we shouldn't have done that.
You know, this is entirely anti-artist though.
Why?
Because this
I am an artist. It's what I am. I say I have just as much responsibility for your access to steal my stuff as anything else.
But this is the kind of thinking you would give for like a major corporation just to be like, we're just going to take stuff now. We don't need artists anymore.
Again, the issue with that is inherently because we still perpetuate the system that we rely on the corporation. If the corporation can do that to us, we can do that to the corporation. We can do the exact
what
same
system?
Well, ergo the Spider-Man.
That's what I'm saying. Like this is why the overall villainization doesn't really work because it's such a perspective of limitation that it says I only fit into this one box and I can only operate in this one box. If you take this box away from me, then I don't have anything. That's not true. The goal here should be, okay, if this is possible, and it is possible because we've already created the scenarios and situations where it is possible.
Can we just, so this being every
You can take my
art being
stuff
on the
because
internet.
I put it on the internet. Like you can use what I put on the internet because I've given you that access by putting it on the internet.
Sure.
Like that's just it. Just that simple. Right?
Spider-Man blowjobs. That is the reclaiming that.
Well, no, that one was actually physically drawn.
Well, but
No,
the
it's
point
being-
being,
There's POV involved that is
But
separate.
no, the idea of it being out there, right, is why you have the ability to make that sort of content. Because Spider-Man is out there, it's disseminated. This is what is out in the world. It exists, and this is why releasing something, right? And this is my word to every creative that's out there. Once you release it, there is a matter of ownership that you have to let go of. It is no longer yours. There is some piece of it that now belongs to the viewing public at large that you have no control over what they're going to do with it. It goes right back to the Adam Hughes thing. He sold his piece. He put it out there. Whatever somebody else does with it, that is for them to decide.
Yeah,
you can't control that.
And I think with art, you are right to an extent, because look at the guy who made the Pepe comics, right? He didn't want his art to be then the mascot of an alt-right movement. Sure, and I think you are right in the sense that you do lose a little bit of ownership. That doesn't mean it could be then stolen and used and claimed as somebody else's art.
All right.
No,
so
but-
when you say stolen,
You're missing a couple steps there.
So this is a matter of, we'll say, art being available for someone to use for their own intents and purposes, right? Can we agree that that's
repeat that again for me?
That art is distributed and used where other people can take it and utilize it for their own intents and purposes.
Whether that be a YouTube thumbnail or
whatever.
Sure.
Like it's we're not going to define specifically how they could use it, but this is something that is out there and it
is now a file that can be used for other things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Art schools have done this forever. Do we pay the individual artists that are showcased in art education institutions for their techniques and styles? No, we do not. We take what they did. We say, this is how they did it. We can teach that. The people who originated that, any of their descendants, they don't get any money from that. If there's any value, it is in the actual feature of the art that they created. But there are plenty of books, websites, and all kinds of things that recreate that work and will tell you how they did it for you to do exactly that same thing. And those people get no money whatsoever.
For you to go do it.
Yeah.
That's
that
the
doesn't
difference.
change. How you do it is irrelevant.
That's to
I
you.
can take the same concept.
AI isn't doing it,
and I
though.
can do it in a different way.
But no one is doing it. That's the problem.
See, in this, okay, so here's where we get into the issue of AI being an issue. Now you're arguing effort.
I've always been arguing.
Yeah, but here's the problem, though. Here's how we don't do this equally, right? How hard is it, Sean, for you to dunk?
I've never done it.
I've never done it either, right? So based on effort, it would be plenty hard for you to dunk.
Probably.
But LeBron James will always get paid more because of his ability to dunk than you would.
Yeah, and he deserves that.
Why? It's easy.
Because he worked hard to do it.
Yeah.
No, it's
What the
easy
hell?
for him. He's like 6'9".
Today? Nah, Vic, come on. That we can't do. That I'm not going to let you get off. That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. That doesn't
You're saying
matter.
Sean's inability to dunk should be he should make as much money as LeBron James, who can dunk?
Again, because if the argument is that it's harder to do, therefore I should make more, it's more valid if I do it because it's
No, bro, that's not what I said at all. I'm saying
that is what you're saying.
No, you don't let me talk, so I cannot tell you what I'm saying.
I'm telling you that's what this is.
Let me tell you what I'm saying.
Go ahead.
What I'm saying is that LeBron James is entitled to his career because he earned it through his hard work and effort. I'm not going to time out. No. I cannot. No.
Hold on. What are you qualifying as hard work and effort?
Him showing up to the gym, shooting his shots, dunking, putting all hours of his life into that, sacrificing X, Y, and Z. Now, he did that. I did not do that. I do not aspire to that. If I want to make myself a generative AI video of me dunking, I could do that. That don't make me a basketball star. It
true.
makes me a loser who needed to see myself dunk that bad that I was such a loser that I sat here and typed in, "Oh, Sean dunking, her," and put online what came out.
Okay.
I'm not making LeBron's money.
Wait.
I don't
Let's
have.
go
No,
back
I'm
to
not
what you
done.
said.
I'm not done.
Let's
I'm
go
not
back
done.
to
I'm
what you
not
said.
done. I'm
Let's go back
not
to what you
done.
said.
I'm not done. I'm
Wait,
not making LeBron's money.
no.
I will not
I
stop
wanna
talking.
make sure
I will
we don't
never
lose
stop
track
talking.
of what we're saying.
You can
I
keep
wanna make sure we
talking.
don't lose
I'm
track.
going to keep talking too.
Wait,
I do
hold
not
on,
make
hold on,
LeBron's
hold on,
money.
hold on.
I'm not going to
Hold
stop.
on,
I am
hold
not going to
on.
stop. Vic, I'm
Please,
not going to stop.
please.
I
No,
am
'cause
not
I
going to
have a
stop
question.
talking.
I have a sincere
Victor,
question.
let
I
me
have a
finish
sincere
my
question.
statement. I will entertain your question after I
Okay,
finish my
okay,
statement. Thank
okay.
you. I do not have LeBron's talent. I do not have his abilities. I do not have his effort. I have not tried to do what he does. So he
Correct.
deserves what he gets based on his effort, and I do not.
Okay. So, to that end, what you just said is that the amount of time that he put forth is indicative of what he can do. Is that statement that he has truly outworked everyone that has been in the NBA that he's played against? Can we say that?
We can say that he may have biological advantages.
Okay.
But we can also say that there's no way in the world that if he didn't do what he's done, he would be LeBron. Because there are a lot of people, believe it or not, who are tall and muscular and everything else, and they don't play at all, or they play in China or some bullshit like that.
Right. So again, what you're saying is there is something very specific that he has gotten to do. The amount of work that he put in is not necessarily the indicating factor. That's
it
what
is. What the fuck?
No, it's not. Because
yes,
like
it is.
No, because there's other people, like you just said, that could put in the same amount of work. They could.
That's not what I said.
You just said we don't know that.
That's not what I said. I said his level of effort separates him from everybody else.
You said that we don't know that everyone that does what he did could do what he does.
No, I said no, not at all. I said people.
I'm asking you, is that true? If you do the same things that he does, and you did it for as long as he did it, are you guaranteed his result?
No, of course not.
Right. So there's something else indicative of what he can do, right? We'll call that talent.
Okay.
People call it X factor.
The idea of effort is not the indicator of the value, because there's a lot of people that can put in a lot of effort and they won't be able to do that. That's not the thing that gives them the ability to do it. So when you take effort out, because again, the more effort you put in doesn't equate to value. That's like saying because I took a lot of time with something, it should be valuable. No, I can just be bad at it.
You enjoy watching basketball with AI fucking bots generated. I'm going to watch LeBron be the best player of all time.
We're going to have a legitimate conversation.
I'm having a legitimate conversation.
What I'm saying is that effort does not equate to outcome. It doesn't always do that.
It doesn't equate to outcome, but effort is human. Effort is human. Effort is human. I respect. No, I respect what LeBron does. I respect what you do. I respect what Gavin does. Right. I respect what I do because of the effort that goes into it. I cannot respect a lack of effort.
But can we also condense effort in that case to time? Because I think the time factor also makes sense. It took time for Victor to get to that point. It took time for LeBron to get to that point. The unfortunate
go work.
The unfortunate advantage of generative AI is it does not take the same commensurate amount of time, although it's trained on the same levels of effort that it's learned off of.
So you will not produce work quality because you did not put that. LeBron isn't good because of his body. I don't co-sign what Vic said. LeBron is good because of his effort. Period, point blank. You cannot take away the talent and effort of an individual. It is not possible.
You can't put talent and effort together. Talent is a matter of his body.
Talent and effort. Talent is a part of his body. Yes, but he maximizes it.
And if you have talent, that changes things. That means that the amount of effort that you have to put in is not the same.
You don't know that, bro.
I do know that.
No, you don't.
I definitely know that.
How could you possibly know that? How could you know that?
I 1,000,000% know that.
How do you know it?
How do I know that the amount of effort that you put in is not indicative of where you are in terms of talent?
No, that's not what you said.
That is what I'm saying.
Okay.
You can take out talent. You can take out talent, right? And your effort still doesn't mean that you can do a high level of things.
Of course.
You can be putting forth all kinds of effort.
I never said it was just effort.
I know. That's what I'm saying though, is that when you do that, right? When you try to take effort as a variable for the outcome that happens. That is incorrect because you can put in that effort and not ever get that outcome. That's the issue that I have with that entire argument. If you can put in this effort and still fail, then it's not the effort. We can't keep putting that into the context.
That's
of it
life.
That's not it.
That's
no,
life.
It's not.
Yes, it is.
not.
Victor.
No,
Victor.
no,
Victor. No. I could have been born to a millionaire. Okay, my father is a fucking bum. So don't tell me about that because they rolled the dice when my father shot it into my mother. That's how life works. Get over it.
No,
that's life.
That is not
yes,
how life works.
That is how life works.
No,
yes, it is.
No.
Yes, it is.
So
you don't choose who you're born
your
to.
outcomes are the result of the efforts of what came before you? No.
I'm saying that plays a everything plays a factor into how your life turns out. Are you kidding me?
No,
there's no rule book to life.
Not everything.
Yes, it is.
No,
yes, it is. Of course it is. Of course it is.
No.
That's such a crazy. That's so crazy, bro. If you think that Will Smith's son, if you think that Will Smith's son doesn't have better opportunities than me because of who his father is, you're fucking bugging, bro.
Whoa. Get Will Smith's name.
Your children have better opportunities than you did because of who you are as a parent versus your parents.
That are not true.
It is true.
But then using using that example, right? If Jaden put in less effort than you did in anything, and you put in more effort, you're more commiserate of receiving maximal reward for that.
I disagree with that statement.
No.
But
Jaden Smith can put in much less effort than me on anything and still get further than I would with full effort.
Anything.
But then that's the thing that I think Victor is saying is that then we're saying that the effort is a variable that doesn't necessarily account for stuff.
No, we're saying that yes, you have to work hard to get where you want to be. You think Jaden Smith is where he wants to be?
For certain things, maybe.
Because again, the idea of working hard is an outside perspective. What is hard to you may not be hard to that other person, which is why you can't say that effort is the thing. That's what I'm saying is the issue. We are trying to apply a value structure to something that is so personalized that you can't do that. What is easy to me may not be easy to you, right? So the idea that, oh, he's putting in all this work. No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
Yes,
this is
you
something
did
I
at
can
some
naturally
point.
do really
you
well.
You did at some point. You did at some point.
No.
Yeah, you did.
Look at when it comes to moderating, and I'll be as honest about this as possible. There is no aspect of training that I've done with moderating. It's just I know how to have a conversation. That is a talent. That's not something I've worked on. It's something I've done a lot of now, but that's only because I've done it a lot.
And you're probably better now than you were when you started.
I don't know that that's true.
I don't know if you're good at it at all because I've never seen it.
That it's not a matter of work. It's just a matter of doing it. That's not the same thing.
But working is doing.
No, it's not, because if that's the case, then what you're saying is that by all the use of AI, it will eventually get to that place.
Because you're not working.
Doing it.
You're not working. Working is doing.
It is working.
No, it's not.
I also think that there's the core of what we're talking about too is art. It's comic book art, capital A art, and I think there is an intangible part of art that just is impossible to get within a generative thing. When somebody's making art, they are, whether or not consciously, subconsciously making so many decisions on a pen stroke, on a brush stroke, on perspective, that could be dictated by their friend who likes half clubs, maybe putting that on a cover. There's such a more personal aspect to art that goes into every single piece.
You're saying that you're pulling from other people's experiences in order to make the thing?
We cannot do that.
No.
We can't.
That's what you just said. That your friend does this thing, and therefore
you're misinterpreting it. I'm saying that the person who is creating the art, the artist in that situation, is a melding of every single experience that person has had currently and in the past, which dictates his own art that cannot be created by something that does not have access to everything in that.
Aggregation, all of it.
Yeah, and
there's no aggregation for my entire life experience.
No, but the sum of who you are in this second and will be in the next moment is an aggregation of those experiences, whether subconscious or conscious, right? Like that. Yeah. That is going to be your subjective experience.
Human
and I think,
experience.
subjective experience, right? And I
Human.
think
No, that's objective.
You can't do
Yeah,
that, Marco.
that's not subjective.
You can't
Yeah,
skirt
because
over what Tyler just
you're only
said.
saying human because there's not a reference for something else.
right, and that
This is what, you know what? I am the host. I am shutting this down. We've done this enough. This is boring now. Let's move on.
Marco, I agree with you.
Did Diodato do it?
Oh yeah, he did it.
I
Okay.
want to read this super chat from Luna Pink, who said, "Bloodbending Batgirl and Bat Harley, God level Guy Gardner.
Can't even
Characters
scroll
get
that
new
far.
powers from DCKO." Thank you, Luna. I appreciate it.
Luna, I apologize. That comment was so far up
Oh man.
that I can't even find it anymore to bring up on the screen. So thank you.
Ben loudly said, "This Diodato instance gives me the same vibe as when Salvador LaRocca was found to be tracing other people's art. Hated it, but still enjoyed his earlier work. This will never have an impact on my ability to read old Mike Diodato
Sure.
art. His Norman Osborn is still wavy.
Still
But
scares me.
future Mike Diodato art, I will probably not buy at this point.
Or I'll be dubious about it at minimum.
Yeah, I'm going to have a lot of thoughts and concerns. Andrea Sorrentino, his career is done as far as I'm concerned. For me,
Well,
his career is over.
as far as the industry
Was
as well
Sorrentino
too.
accused of AI? Really?
Oh, yeah.
A year or
yeah.
two back.
I missed that.
Yeah, a year or two back.
Yeah,
On
you're back,
some,
and I haven't
some-
seen his art in a year or two.
Accused or like totally proven?
I think accused. I would still argue accused. This was on like a Joker book, like a random thing.
Oh, a Batman book is not a random book.
But it was like an off.
Was it the Black Label?
It was a Black Label book. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Sorrentino?
Was it not?
No, it wasn't. It was core Batman.
Oh,
that
you're
was
right.
that was
You're
core
right.
Batman.
Yeah, it was Batman.
Really?
Yeah, core. Yeah, it was
That was the Joker year one.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. There was a Black Label Joker book though. Yes.
Yes.
Not tripping?
too many.
I believe
It's
so.
DC Bat Label at this point.
And then he also was accused of it on his indie project with Jeff Lemire. So we don't.
yeah.
It's hard to know where the truth lies with this stuff, but you know, as a society, I guess we made up our mind about Sorrentino. We'll see where the jury lands on Mike Diodato. For his part, again, he has vehemently denied it. I saw that he had said that he has processed video
Yeah.
of him drawing this stuff.
I've seen it.
Interesting.
So
I've seen it, but not of any of the examples that we came across.
yeah.
So he tried to. He's like, yeah, no, for sure, I did it, but not a robot in sight, and it's all like sketch work too. There's some in panel work, but not of the other stuff.
Steve Canaris, though, I think cutting through all of the noise to make a point, as he always does, that is indisputable. There will be people who will have no issue buying AI comics.
Yeah.
The free market will decide unless laws intervene.
Yeah.
That is very
That
true.
is true.
That is very true.
That is true. It doesn't matter
Sobering.
what you think about it.
Yes.
Ultimately, that is what it comes down
You know what? Like I know you said you wanted to kill it, but I do want to point this out though. And I think this is probably the place that we find the truest common ground on it is my aspect of not caring if it's used or not is because it does not equate to a successful project. If you don't put forth the work to make your project successful, I don't care how you did it, it's not going to land, right? You have to find ways to connect with your audience. You have to find ways to create something that they want to see and want to engage with. However that might align, you have to put in that level of work and effort to make whatever project you do valuable, right? Like something just existing does not make it automatically a win.
Sure.
In this case, they made over $100,000 off what we are alleging, or what is being alleged to be AI art.
The Kickstarter, just
But wait, was that work available when they did the Kickstarter, or was it just the?
No, it's
Okay.
It's what came out. It's the output.
And
of
it's
the
not AI
success.
according to them.
Right.
What?
So
Did they have anything available to see for the Kickstarter?
The covers, but the
so.
covers look like traditional Diodato covers, I believe.
Yeah.
And I think
and
at New York Comic Con there was a big booth for it, right, Marco?
we saw it. Yeah, we
Yeah.
walked by it, and I was like, "Hey, AWA," and I was like, "Oh, Wizard of Oz? Maybe not."
Oh man. And by the way, I love you, Victor.
I love you back.
to me, I like to debate. I like to argue. I'm not mad at Victor. A lot of times people interpret me yelling as anger. I get hot. I
Now,
like
this
to
is how
get
black
hot.
men speak.
This is a show. Off air, if Victor and I were having this exact same conversation, I would hear him, he would hear me, and we move on.
Yes.
I'm not looking to argue with anybody about almost anything off the air.
We would buy
On
drinks
the-
for each other.
Yeah, on the air, I'll argue about anything with anyone, pretty much.
Content is
Yeah.
content, baby.
Ooh, see, even that word makes me
I
shrivel.
hate
I don't like
content,
content.
Content.
I hate the
Listen, listen,
I also
listen.
don't like the idea of art being like whether or not it's successful is its worth.
Yeah.
That's an interesting point. Why?
Because I don't give a shit if it makes money.
I didn't say make money.
Success. Yeah, success is different.
Yeah.
Like
didn't say make money.
Howard the Duck isn't successful in Marvel's terms. They keep having to try it and try it again. But I love Howard the Duck.
But did it
I mean,
achieve
he's
what
a
it set
success
out?
because he exists and they keep using him. But in terms of making money equaling success, I don't think that that's necessarily true. Because again, like I said before, my books I would not qualify as successful because I haven't sold enough to qualify for success under anybody's metric. The only thing that I will say that makes me truly successful is I'm still here.
And to your earlier point,
that's the thing
but
too. It's like
to the earlier point though, like it's also you, whether or not the sale would happen, are outputting the thing that you want to in the way that
Anyway.
you want to. Right.
Guys,
Anyway.
we gotta
I
stop.
know.
I'm sorry,
I'll
I'm sorry.
shut
Yeah,
up.
yeah,
I'll shut up.
sorry,
Sorry.
yeah.
I love y'all.
Um,
I love y'all. This is a great conversation.
Yo, Victor, I didn't know we were aligned on this kind of thing.
Yes, we are. I heard us in New York and we didn't get to talk about it too much.
Okay.
We owe 2 more wheel spins.
Okay, all right. I don't have any more Spider-Man blowjob comics, so we might have to
Wow.
Thank
find another
goodness.
highlight book. We get to drink. Oh, we need it.
Nice.
Oh,
Drink of water.
yes.
Drink of
I
water.
need to drink a fucking beer.
I made some
Gotta bet.
coquito earlier, man. I'm gonna be
Oh,
fucking coked up
did you?
tonight.
Excuse me.
Get
Oh,
coquito up. Yeah,
Out.
yeah.
Dang it.
Sorry, that one was a no because it's a slot that I have to adjust. Marco's minute. Fuck.
Oh,
Okay.
fuck.
Nice. Let's go.
Marco's minute on why original human-made art will always prevail.
I think from a creative standpoint, and what I mean by that is what I would be willing to output is only human art in support of artist. I will gladly put together a comic with a GPT. More recently, they came out with this thing where you can draw it out, you upload it, and you can kind of give it parameters, and it'll construct something with a flow. I'm thinking for drafting, for this kind of thing. But for me, I would prefer the process of working with an artist, having a conversation, having that feedback, because I think the thing that is comparable but not necessarily the same is the experience of having a back and forth, and in particular a back and forth with somebody who has an eye that I don't, for the page construction, for the color, for the direction, for camera angles. And so I end up learning a bit more through that process than I do learning or processing kind of like what feels like a mirror or reflection of my thoughts.
Lovely.
That was pretty good.
On the
Lovely.
fly.
Chat, how we feeling? You guys okay? I know got intense. Everybody all right? Hope we're doing good. Green Cognito said this is literally a black debate. Yeah, dude. I feel like people I'm amazed sometimes by this shit. Like the way people receive me is so different than the way I'm received by people in my life. Cause like I don't know. If I was yelling at a friend of mine in a conversation about something that we cared about that had nothing to do with any of this, like we would just piece it up right after. It would be nothing. Like
People don't see that part though.
Yeah.
Nah. That's when I start arguing with my friend. I start bringing up why his ex-girlfriend dumped him. Like I start bringing.
See, but that people do that. People do that.
I'm adjusting.
It's cold, man. It's cold.
Hey, it's cold sometimes in the group chat.
All right. I want to shout out the remaining patrons who I didn't mention earlier with a particular shout out, a huge shout out to Ghost Trick, who just joined us yesterday. So thank you, Ghost Trick, and joined the Discord too, which I always love to see.
Nice.
And Just Unseen, who deserves a massive shout out for joining us at our highest tier. Thank you so much, brother. I can't wait to write your origin. That's going to be fun. And so I want to say an additional thank you to Amin, the Almighty Perez, Houston, the Century Kid Murphy, Peter, Living Lightning Electrics, Young Dende, Fae Fighter, Dawoody, Shalom, Paladin, Warbird, Cosmic November, Carter the Owl, Shogun, and Steve, Swarm, Canaris, Scripture, The Wardens of the Word, Jack of Some Trades, Cloutier, Chris the Cure, Coleman, Emperor MD, Johnny, Joel Justice, and Mad Max Pliskin. Adam, I wrote your origin. We've been doing this for 4 hours. We got to go. I promise you, you will get the last one of the year on the next show we do. We have got to play the GOAT game. And I hope that Victor ends up being chosen. Do you know what the game is?
I don't know this. What is the GOAT game?
So the GOAT game is the greatest of all time game.
Okay.
If the wheel lands on you, which it can land on any of the four of us or any combination of the four of us, we will have 45 seconds to argue as to why the character that gets chosen by the randomizer is the greatest hero or villain ever.
Jeez.
Right.
Okay.
Who's going to do it then? Let's see.
Let's see. Whoa. Please.
It's
Dude,
just Marco.
I tried to put the energy to come
It was
my way.
almost
ready.
all of us. It was almost all of us. All right. Let's see.
Did Marco
The character
convince you
is going to
that
be Marco. Are you ready for your character?
the GOAT? I'm typing up the question right now.
Because the
Is it-
character is Marvel's Gladiator.
Oh,
Fuck.
wait, which one?
Dude, there's more than one?
The
Oh.
Shi'ar Imperial Guard Gladiator.
Okay.
Yeah. Not
okay,
the
cool.
Daredevil villain.
Okay.
No Googling.
I know. I just put up the poll. That's all,
Sure,
that's all I
sure,
did. That's all I
okay.
did. That's all. That's all. My hands are up here.
I already gave you a hint. I don't know if you were paying attention.
I heard Shi'ar, so
Okay.
All right, I am getting the timer situated, Marco. You officially have 45 seconds whenever you start talking.
all right, here we go. First of all, Gladiator, rad name to be part of a subset of individuals who named after their very task. I think very fitting of their one character and then who they can aspire to be. As a Shi'ar, I think unparalleled in their spacefaring ability, the combat styles, and so to be respected and more importantly to be feared because the Shi'ar are one of the elite groups in Marvel space, and so therefore, Gladiator as part of the Shi'ar should be considered the greatest of all time for the combination of all of what I said.
So what I love about that is that you put up the poll and it's 100% no already. They started voting before you were done talking.
That was
That's so
very
messed up.
2000,
That's so messed up.
2007 Miss America.
Sure, just
Wow.
like, and the reason is because I.
Yeah.
Dang.
Well done, I guess.
No, that was
Question mark?
that was the most I guess complete argument for AI I've ever seen. AI would at least do better than that. Jesus Christ.
Green
Wow.
Green Cognito says, Marco, name one Shi'ar combat style. Oh, don't do that to me, dude.
Damn.
I couldn't.
Krav
either.
Maga.
I could have argued for Gladiator, and I'm sure you could have too, Tyler. Right?
I love Gladiator. Yeah.
Yeah, and Vic, of course.
Oh yeah.
Um,
I'm now upset that I didn't get it. You did a great job, Marco. Do not think that you did not do a good job.
No, he didn't.
He is the guy with the mohawk. I was trying to remember which one of.
Vic, I gotta say, man, I feel like you're one of those like participation trophy kind of dudes.
No.
Like,
I'm very rude about that. No. I'm super rude about that.
so be rude to Marco.
No. Because if Marco didn't know, then that's mean. Because like when I said which one, and Marco's like, "There's more than one." I'm like, "Oh, well, see, now you got a major handicap in this one."
I'm saying Marco has known about the Go game for how many months now? And could be doing his research on Marvel Wikipedias. And he just doesn't want to do the effort.
go into deep dives of those things. That's right. That's right.
Gladiator is amazing though. Gladiator is a goat. Like, is a
Some-
goat character.
Some people voted yes for Marco.
Marco's whole
Misclick,
family is in
misclick.
the stream usually, so
Yeah.
That's a
Misclick.
great point. Were you voting on Marco as a human, or were you voting on his
Yeah.
pitch?
And no nepo votes.
Well, those probably came in. Uncanny Suit says Marco thought he was Russell Crowe.
Wait, what?
And that's the gladiator?
Yeah.
He thought it was Marcus Aurelius.
See, Marco didn't even get that reference.
I
That's
love
how.
it. He didn't even get that.
Dang it!
I was like,
oh
what?
my god! Oh my god!
Marco, you know who Russell Crowe is?
No, I know who he is. Now I know what you're talking about.
Okay, all right. I wasn't
Oh,
sure how
yeah.
far down we went.
I forgot who he is.
Wow.
So we have had a doozy of an episode. Ladies, gentlemen, pals of all creeds, thank you so much for listening. It's been wonderful. Victor, thank you for being here.
My pleasure.
From
Always.
the very first conversation that I had with you 10 years ago,
Yeah.
I knew that I liked you. And it's not because we agree. It's because I like that you're bold about your opinions and you're not afraid to state them. That is one of my favorite qualities in people. I don't actually care if we agree or not. How willing are you to stand by what you believe?
I think that is definitely something that not just you, Sean, but the entire team embodies in a wonderful way. And I think that is why I love being one of your pals, because you guys do have such a great individualized voice that comes together to promote this industry and art form that we love so much. And I think it's one of the best things on the internet, period. So thank you guys for having me here. I appreciate it.
And where can people find you?
Actually, if everyone would find me on my YouTube page at VantageInhouse.tv, we're getting ready to do a big relaunch for a number of different things. In fact, it's going to be a very interesting sort of 2026. We're going to do some things where one could argue that we're kind of pirating ourselves on YouTube. And we're going to put that out there because, again, the goal is we want viewers. We want people to know about our books. And if you're interested, I'm sure you'll buy. But I really just want you to know these products.
Yeah. Awesome. And I agree with what Steve said. Steve in the chat said, I hope nobody is silly enough to hold this personally against Victor. I completely agree with that. This is not that type of channel. It's just not. That's not how. I don't like groups of people. So I don't like Comicsgate. I don't like racist. I don't like groups. But individual people can have opinions.
Facts. Big facts.
You said groups of people. I'm like, I don't like Staten Island Italians.
I don't like the Dutch.
Whoa.
I meant people who are choosing their association.
Yeah.
Like when if you were born on Staten Island, that's unfortunate. But if you choose to live there, then I judge you.
That's on you.
I don't know. The rent is a little cheaper there sometimes.
Big shout out to Wu-Tang. This is
Hell yeah. The Pallies next Saturday. Please show up. I want everybody there. It's going to be fantastic. We're going to be telling you the official results so that everyone can know who the best creators in the industry are. What's up, Tyler?
And just a reminder about Pals Polls next week.
Thank you.
Yeah, that is going to be at Friday of next week, so the 26th, because of a thing called Christmas. So
Yes.
You're going to get a little bit of a break from us outside of Pals Previews, which will come out on Monday, which we got to record. Damn.
Yeah. So Monday Pals Previews, Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern, Pals Polls, Saturday here for the Pallies, and then it's fucking a new year. Crazy. Well, no, then it's the Vertigo Book Club.
Book
Then
club,
it's
yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you guys so much. We will see you in the future. Until then.